Okay, so welcome. My name is Laurel Smith. This is Find Your Business. I think that's what we're calling it these days. Yep, Find Your Business. This is about lead generation, prospecting in particular. I've got my contact information over here. You guys have questions after class about anything, I'd be happy to help. I've been in real estate for just right around 4 years, actually. Just had my 4-year anniversary with Keller Williams. I work on a team with my husband Blair, who will be teaching you guys next Friday. I handle most of the buyers, and he handles most of the sellers. We were previously on a team with my dad, Marshall Morgan, who's going to be teaching class this afternoon, the offer to purchase, and y'all are going to be in that. So anyway, really enjoy teaching you tonight. I think it's really fun and like to get to know the newer agents here in the office. We are going to cover a lot of material. This is going to be a involved class as far as I need your participation. It goes much better if y'all are asking questions and we're talking versus me just standing there talking. There's also going to be some activity in the class with you guys making some phone calls, and we're going to do that right off the bat. So, let me get another name tent, but if you can write your name on here. I'll be right back, okay? So I'm just start figuring out how I'm going to call. I will. I really like to just get set up before keeping calling. And make sure you guys sign in if you have not done so already. There you go. Okay, so what we're going to cover today is we're going to go over the mission from the last mission that y'all were supposed to do. We're going to talk about your daily 10-4. We're going to go over a script. We're going to make some calls. We're going to talk about the 4 C's of prospecting. We're going to talk about various prospecting opportunities, and we're going to put it all together. So, is there anything in particular that you guys want to make sure that we talk about that would make you feel like you got, something out of this class, or you got a real burning question about prospecting?
As far as lead generation goes, I know talking to people and going door to door, whatever it might take in actual, real life scenarios. But outside of that, where can we find leads, like as far as dialer systems or Zillow or stuff like that?
All right, I'm going to put all of our questions up here. We're definitely going to talk about that. So other sources for leads, right?
Right.
Okay.
I have one too.
Okay.
Can we focus a little on social media lead generation?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that too.
Because that's going to be probably a big one for me.
Anything else we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and you guys may come up with questions. And if it's something that's maybe a little bit down the rabbit hole, I may just table it over here, make sure we get to answer it by the end of the class, okay? All right, well then, let's get started. So we're on page 5 of everybody has a manual, right? It looks more like
Ignite book.
this Ignite book. Just print out your script book. Good. Okay, let me ask Caitlin.
You got big, huge.
I have the big binder, but I don't have.
Well, that's what you need.
No,
you need your
binder.
The binder. Page 5 on session 3.
So we're looking for this big binder that's got today, session 3. We're going to follow along here in the book.
Did everybody get this?
All right. So your expectations today, we're going to find some business. We're going to prospect and lead generate, connect with potential clients, and obtain referrals. And I'm going to show you some videos today. We're going to do a lot of activities in class, and I'm going to help hold you guys accountable to what you're doing today. The whole thing with Ignite is that it's designed to get you into production quickly. Happy agents are ones that are producing, so we want everybody to produce right away. So this is all these activities we're doing, and we're developing habits to get you into productivity right away. All right, so turn to page 6. So this talks about your mission that was supposed to be completed prior to this class today. So let's talk first about the daily 10-4. So the daily 10-4, is your 10 contacts added to your database, making 10 connections, writing 10 notes, and then over the course of the week, we're previewing 10 houses. So how has that been going for you guys? No judgment, let's just be real. It's not.
It hasn't been going well for me this week.
I came in yesterday and handwrote 10 notes.
Good.
And it took forever. And I'm talking about a little short blank, hey, Angie, happy belated birthday, blah, blah, blah. Sign on the short and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to go on GeoData, find their address. It was very time consuming, and I'm thinking 10 of those a day. I know we're shooting for the stars here.
Well, and the idea is that this is going to get you into the habit of doing this. Like, I'm writing notes myself after I'm talking to people. And yeah, it does take a little bit of time. Yet, some things that I've heard other people do and what I have done is, like in Google Drive, I'll just make a template of a note card, like of what I want it to say. So at least I don't have to think of, what am I going to say to this person? I just kind of I do a basic template and then handwrite it.
Well, who can teach us how to do that?
Well, it's just whatever you don't have to put it in Google Drive. You could put it in with your note cards. Just handwrite out, hey, Angie, there's a script in here actually for note cards on page 13. So you could just copy this script on page 13, put it in with your note cards, and then that way you can just copy that basically.
Okay, are you doing these note cards immediately after you speak to them, or are you just continuing to dial and then
I'm continuing
doing
to
it when you're
dial.
done?
Yeah, I'm continuing to dial, and then that's part of the maintenance at the end. We'll talk about how you break down your region. Okay, can you just bring it here?
What page was that again?
That's on page 13. So a challenge then has been the time consumingness of writing notes. Is that one thing? Would this help you with having like a little template so that you could just easily, and I find it's more efficient than calling them, writing the note, calling them, writing the note to call, write.
So are you making any notes as to what the call pertains to so you can implement that in your card? Because for me, I'm going to lose it. If I'm going on 5 calls later, whatever I talk to that person about is gone out of my head.
Right, so when I'm calling, I am making notes as I'm talking on the phone. And so then I can go back to my notes. But really, you don't need to necessarily have your note be specifically about what you talked on the phone. Hey, Julie, thanks for taking my call today. I appreciate your support. As I'm starting my real estate business, here are some card information note anybody that needs my help. It doesn't have to be like, it was so great to talk to you about your grandma, and it doesn't have to be. They're basically going to look at the card. Oh, I got a handwritten note. That's so nice. Trash and hole in your cards. That's.
So where was that on 13?
It might be in the binder. 13.
All right. So what about actually making the calls? How's that been going? Anybody been making any calls?
I made one, and I got an appointment tomorrow.
Yeah, I have an appointment today.
Okay, so.
But the calls, actually it wasn't through an actual phone call though. It was some electronic communication. A lot of the people in my sphere of influence prefer texting and messaging. But I'm going to try to get better at doing actual voice phone calls.
Okay.
I'm a little different, but I went through all the A's on my phone, which is like a ton.
Yeah.
And called, and I got one person who was possibly on the list, and one person who sent me plans to build.
Good.
However, I also got a call and talked to a past client that just listed their house a month ago with somebody else.
I know.
And they're like, oh, I feel so bad now.
Well, call me if that doesn't
It's only
work
about
out.
$300,000. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a big ouch.
Yeah, I know. So what's the lesson in that?
Stay in touch with
Stay in
people.
touch with people.
But see, I email and I send notes, but calling is
Yeah. Well, one thing, so I have a coach with Keller Williams, and one thing that my coach said to Blair and me is that communication is different than giving information. So like emails are kind of giving information, whereas communication is talking. So he's like, you know, it's great that you're emailing your people like on a 33 touch or something like this, but having that actual communication is what is going to maybe have that connection more. So yeah, because I had the exact same thing happen, and I hadn't called them, and if I would have, they said, oh, we lost your number. Is it my email signature? You know?
look it up.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is off topic, just a bit. Just a bit, but you mentioned you have a coach. Are there other coaches here besides Arlene?
No, I have a coach through Mass Coaching. So you guys, you know, starting out, if you're new, productivity coaching with Arlene is a great start. She is super, super smart, knows the real estate business, and is really good at holding people accountable and getting them into production. Then as you kind of grow your business, then there's different levels of coaches that you can.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Coaching is, I'll just say a little word about coaching. It's super, super important, I believe, in if you really want to grow yourself and grow your business. So if you know, want to talk after class or whatever, talk to them about that. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this before the class started. Some of you guys weren't here. So is anybody tracking these things that they're doing? The contacts added, the connections, the notes, houses previewed. Hands? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I know it's really hard to get into the habit of tracking. Everything is a habit, really, in real estate. And I know it's hard to get into that habit, but the importance of it is that once you're tracking these things, then you can be able to predict your business. So whether it takes you 10 calls to get one call to get an appointment, or it takes 20 calls to get an appointment, or it takes 200 calls, it doesn't really matter, but you just need to know, if I want to sell X number of houses this year, that means I need to make this many calls. So it makes it more predictable. So that's why it's really important to track it, so you're not like just kind of relying on guesswork. Okay, so can you guys make a promise to me this week going forward to start tracking the numbers? And if it doesn't work to track it in the daily 10-4, you know, find a system that works. Like my coach says, he used to keep just a little pocket calendar in his pocket, and on the day he would just make tallies of how many people he talked with, or if he got a lead, he would mark that, or if he, you know, he was saying preview houses. Or there's tally apps on your phone. Like you can, whatever works for you, it doesn't really matter. It just needs to be what works for you, so that you can keep track. Okay, now the mission. Did you guys get a chance to watch the videos? There were some various things on internet lead generation, calling for sale by owners, calling expired listings. Did anybody get to do that? Couple of them? Those cold call videos are really good. I mean, the guys that do those, they like, that's just a script. When we're talking about scripts, those are just scripts. They just are really good at it, and it's been embodied. So after class, sometime this weekend, if you didn't get a chance to do that, go back and take a look at those videos because they're really, really good. Okay. And did you guys, there's some videos on the technology, like the touch campaigns? Okay. take a look at those, because that's what you want to start being, once you're putting people in your database, you want to get them on those touch campaigns. So you're calling them and you're sending them these campaign emails that go out, depending on which one it is, varying frequencies. Okay? Did somebody tell me something that they took away from the mission that's going to help their business?
I think the technology is really important, but I think this class, going into it right away is problematic if your systems aren't set up.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating right now because everything's scattered all over the place. There's no systems, there's not even a website. I don't have anything to track. There is no dialers.
You have a system to track. Does everybody know how to use the tracker? My tracker, my 411? Okay. So we have a system to track. So I know what you're saying, and yet Amber, you've been in the business a long time, right? So there's, like, for me, I sometimes get into this mode of like, well, I gotta get this set up, and then I gotta get this set up, and then you could be like 4 years down the road, and you're still not doing what you need to do yet, because there's always going to be something new, something more important. Can you share anything about
a
that?
lot of times we spend too much time getting ready to sell real estate.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta make sure that I don't look foolish when I bring up fire agency and I need to know this, I need to know this. You gotta like fail forward. You just gotta go. Just go and you get better every time you do it. Like the calls and the scripts, every time you do it, you get better. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm not trying to use an excuse. I'm just saying, like, something as simple as the working with agents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that. And here I am having a conversation with someone who's a for sale by owner, but they're looking for another house, and now I get to help them find a house, but I don't have anything to give them.
So you need to get with
set up.
Kayla and get the
Exactly.
copies of the forms.
Yep, and all that. So just little things like that. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And
Hey, those are good problems to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
You're getting business before you're getting set up. So
Yes.
it's good, but everybody gets kind of into I mean, I was exactly the same way. I was like, I got to get this in place before I can do that. And the reality is, even if you have all that stuff in place and you don't have any business, then what was the point of that? So it's stressful. I will give you that, and I totally understand. And the idea is that, we take these classes and we have some time in the afternoon to hopefully take care of some of this business work and get things set up.
I think it's great. Ignite is great. I think it's my fault. Day one, here I am. I just go Ignite too. So it's kind of comical,
Good morning.
So I'm just a little behind is what I feel like.
Well, that's okay. It's kind of like you just like jump into the deep end and start treading water and
Yeah. Just, it's sad when, you got an instructor up there saying, hey, did you guys make your thing? I was like, oh,
well, yeah, I mean,
It's okay, we're
it's
all the
okay.
same.
Yeah.
We're all in the same place because our stuff isn't set up either.
Right. And
We're struggling with it.
yeah, listen, I'm supposed to be making my calls too every day. There's days that I don't do it. It's just that we're getting into this habit of, this whole thing with Ignite is to develop these habits and the habits of lead generation. So,
And what I will tell you, and don't let anybody attest to this, if you don't watch out, your business will run you instead of you run your business.
right. So the idea is that we get all this stuff going, get these things set up, be in charge of our business. So I'm not, we're talking about the contacts. I just want to know, like, what can we do to help overcome challenges? Because it's going to be a challenge. I have a challenge making calls all the time. It's just figuring out how to move past it and get to getting that done. All right. Anything else about the daily 10-4? How many contacts can we commit next week a day to talking to? We're at 0 to 2 right now. How many can we commit to next week? A day. Let's just say a day.
So when you say contact, like, does that mean having a call? It doesn't count if you're out?
No, it does.
Okay.
A contact is a two-way conversation.
Okay.
So a lot of people will say that does not include texting and things like this. If you're having a real conversation about real estate, I would say that's a contact. If you're just putting something out there, you're not getting any responses back. Like, hey, I'm new in real estate. Do you know of anybody? That's more of and you're having that conversation. That's a contact, but it's a two-way conversation. Okay.
I could probably get close to 10. If all of it counts.
Yeah.
Like the phone calls, I'm still working on, but
even if you're
face
out,
to face,
say you're at a kid's something or other, or you're at Starbucks or wherever you are, have your name tag on. If you don't have a name tag, I rarely wear my name tag, so we'll just kind of strike up a conversation. Prospecting is not just on the phone. Okay, it can be in person too.
I'm more comfortable trying to talk to a stranger.
So
than
if that's
calling somebody on the phone that wants to tell me about their problems. I mean, isn't that what friends do? You know.
all right, let's move on.
business card yet.
We're on page 8. I didn't have business cards for like a year, so don't make that an excuse. Oh, I just ran out. Just be giving out left and right. I don't know. So, okay. We are on, I can never remember this thing. All right. Nope. Is anybody previewing homes? How's that been going for you?
Oh, fine, I do it all the time.
Realistically, can you only preview 10 homes a week or 10 homes a day?
10 homes a week. 10 homes a week, not 10 homes a day.
And when you say preview, you mean actually like physically
Go to the house.
Yeah.
So this was something I used to do, and then I kind of got out of it because I was like, oh, I show houses, whatever. I went to the Win with Buyers class a couple weeks ago, and the guy that was teaching it is a mega buyer's agent, and he's like, no, you need to be previewing houses still. Like, even though you are out showing houses and you have a basic idea of the market, you need to be previewing all the time. That's how y'all, especially if you're brand new and don't know what's out there, don't know what the inventory's like, don't know what homes are selling for, that really helps you become familiar with what's on the market, so that you can say to your buyer in their consultation, that there's nothing out there that meets your needs. I can promise you that, or whatever the case may be.
Oh,
So yeah,
do you do that by appointment with
Yes.
the other agent, or
just go through showing time, or everything's through showing time. So if you're on the MLS, you can look up the showing appointment service. It's the same for everybody. It's called Showing Time, and you just call and you make an appointment. You say it's an agent preview. You can go to open houses on the weekends. That's a preview. I mean, that's all you have to do. Yep. And maybe find, like, in a neighborhood, if there's several in the market, just go, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and then you could get an idea of what's going on in that neighborhood.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I had a situation where I requested to preview a home, and the agent called and was like, well, you have a buyer that wants to see it. And I was like, no, I'm just previewing the market. And I don't think they got that. Right?
Well, if they don't get it, then,
I mean, how do you respond? How would you respond to that?
well, you could just say, I'm wanting to know what's out there for my buyers, in case this is something that they may want. I mean, you might get a buyer tomorrow that would meet their needs. Or if they don't want you to preview the house, then just say, okay.
Yeah, they did. So, and then they would think that's like right after.
Well, that's turning away possible future business.
Well,
when they do that.
some will, some won't. So what next? Just move on. Yeah.
In each of these showings, though, you get an email that says we want feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can give positive feedback. Sometimes the feedback is just like, oh my God, what happened in this house? I don't want to be rude, but if you're in a broker preview situation, what should the feedback be?
Whatever you think that it needs to be. I mean, if you think that there's too much wallpaper, or you think that
Well, when
it's
they hand
totally-
me their kitchen cabinets and things on the floor, it's pretty bad.
well, then tell them that. I mean, they should know.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to be rude, but they want your feedback.
Okay.
That would be my thought. Okay. All right, so turn to page 8. We are going to start by lead generating for business this morning. So does everybody have your phone? Okay, so everybody have a list of people to call. I know you do because you got a contact book in your phone, right? Okay. So the scripts we're going to use today, we're going to use the scripts from day one, and then we've got some new scripts today that we're going to go over. We're going to call for 20 minutes, and we're going to make contact with as many people as possible. We're going to ask for referrals from the people that we're talking to. And then don't forget, we've got this KW mobile app. We're going to talk about the script for offering to send them the KW mobile app. Okay? So first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to start by saying an affirmation. So everybody stand up. Does anybody use affirmations? Love them.
Dry erase marker on your mirror in your bathroom.
I keep a little notebook with me of things that I need help affirming to myself and read it to myself. What do you do for affirmations?
I just make notes, and I also keep like a journal, and I just write them every day, and I read over them and say them out loud.
Yeah, it really helps. So we're going to start our lead generation calling by saying an affirmation. And the affirmation is, opportunities come easily to me. Okay? So I'm going to say it first, and then we're going to say it 3 times together. And we're going to anchor it at the end with a huh, okay? You need an anchor, all right? And we're going to say it loud. If we don't say it loud, we're going to keep going, okay? Good. All right. Opportunities come easily to me. 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 Huh! Okay? And the reason, you guys can sit down. But if you feel, you guys all have more energy, you're smiling, you're like colors up, okay. So, and the reason why we do the anchor is so that in case you're in a situation where maybe you can't be like, opportunities come easily to me, you can do this, huh, and that kind of triggers in your mind that, I got this, opportunities come easily to me, okay? I really believe in affirmations, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that too, but that'll get us going on our scripts for on our calls for today. So you've got your little area to record. You're going to do your result. You got a referral, anything like that. So turn to page 9. We're going to practice the scripts. So I'm going to go through this referral script first. Then we're going to do it together. And then we'll start the class, okay? All right, ring. Hey, John, my name's Laurel Smith. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. This is, we're calling a referral, okay? My name is Laurel Smith. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. Your name was given to me by a close friend of both of ours, Susie, and she said that I could give you a call. Is right now a good time to talk for a couple minutes? Sure. Excellent. Susie said you were thinking of buying a home in the next few months and asked if I would give you a call. She and I both want to make certain that you're in great hands and that you have the very best, so that's why I'm calling. Since everyone likes to know what houses are selling for, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you, and I can send you a text to link to it. Does that sound good? Yeah. Great. Have you seen anything that you like thus far?
No, not really, but I'm still browsing.
Okay, great. Well, this app will really help. Are you working with any other real estate agent?
No, not right now.
Okay, that's good. So the next step would be for us to get together. I can answer all your questions and explain how the entire process works. It'll only take about 20 minutes. Can we meet today, or would tomorrow be better for you?
Tomorrow will work better.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate your time. What time do you think, would 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock tomorrow?
Let's do 4:30.
All right, 4:30, great. Well, I'll send you a text with our office address, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4:30. And if there's anything I can do in the meantime, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Laurel.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to do it together, all out loud. And we're just going to do to if they are buying, okay? So just say your own name. We'll say, hey, Bold, this is your name, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Bold. My name is Laurel with Keller Williams Realty. Your name was given to me by a close friend of both of ours, Susie. And she said that I should give you a call. Is right now a good time to talk for a couple of minutes? Excellent. Susie said that you were thinking about buying a house in the next few months and asked if I would give you a call. She and I both want to make certain that you are in great hands and that you have the very best. So that's why I'm calling. Since everyone likes to know what houses are selling for, I'd like to share my real estate out with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you, and I can send you a text to link to it. Does that sound good? Great. All right, how'd that feel?
Unnatural.
Yeah, it didn't feel very natural, but
So do you think when Johnny Depp reads a script for Pirates of the Caribbean the first time that it was very natural?
no, but he probably also ad-libs quite a bit.
But the point I'm making is that
Paraphrasing.
he practices and practices and practices
Yeah.
until he is Captain Sparrow. You
That's
know what I
true.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
this is just something that you internalize. And so the practicing it and practicing it and practicing helps it become more natural. The things I say on the phone, at first did not sound natural. It sounded really forced and uncomfortable. But then you start getting better at it. And then you just say these things and you're like, where the heck did that come from? Okay, any questions about this script?
What if we don't have the app yet?
Then don't use that script. But you can just download it on your phone. If you don't have the app, don't use that part. If you still have a referral to call, maybe just don't say that part about the app. Just say, Susie gave me your name and wanted to make sure you're being taken care of. And then go down to the part about the appointment. On the next page, you have, I'm new to real estate, so this is something you guys can always use if you're new, or if you're new to Keller Williams, you can use this as well. These were the scripts that you got from day one. Okay? Then there's another script on page 12. So if you've been in real estate and you're reminding them, or if you're new to the area, whatever your situation is, there's 4 different scripts there that y'all can definitely use at least one of them, plus the calling referrals today. So does anybody have any questions? Okay. We're going to call for 20 minutes. It's 9:33, so be back in here at 9:53, and then we'll kind of recap and then take a break. If people are calling to chat, Lisa, call your friends or whatever, and they want to tell you problems, you can just say something like, I would love to catch up. Could we, talk after work or something today?
Okay, that's
Just kind of move it along. All right, so this is going to be a competition. We want to see who gets the most contacts. So keep track of your contacts.
There's a place, right?
Yep, there's a place. Page 8. Any questions?
So what is the goal of this activity?
The
Is the goal to set
to-
appointments? Is the goal to just talk to people?
The goal is any of the above. Make a connection, get a lead, get an actual appointment, or just cultivate the relationship. So any of those things with lead generation are wins. Even if you don't get an appointment, you don't get a lead, that's okay. It's all about cultivation. Lead follow-up is like the biggest thing in making that cultivation. So even if you got to talk to these people for a year and you're not getting anything, that's still a win. It's a win if you keep calling them, okay? So that's the point of today's activity. And to get started on those contacts for the week. So we'll finish up for the week. All right. Ready, set, go.
We can go around.
You can. If you're staying here and you have questions or you're getting stumped, talk to me. Be back at 9:53.
I will plan on myself.
Now don't leave and not make calls.
Alright, doing good. I got a missed call from yesterday. What's your name?
Most of the people I know are teachers. And they're
What?
teaching right now. Let me see. Who's looking?
Oh, so they're gonna. Wait, so is it just the one that's on Salem Street? Are you seriously? That's crazy. Okay. Well, I'll be sure to take that over the email list and everything that was sent out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, well, yeah, now we can get that going. But
Are
got a
most of
question
your-
for you.
Were you a teacher?
Yeah, I was a teacher assistant. Yeah.
Okay. What else? What about,
No,
I'm sure you, have you talked to your family?
Yeah, I'm
members?
doing some
well, okay, I was thinking about
I just
calling my
wanna ask,
sister-in-law because she has like a lot of
also,
friends, but her grandma died yesterday.
Mm.
So now's not a good time to like solicit his.
Have you talked to her since her grandma died?
Well, I, told her that I was thinking about her and stuff like that.
Maybe you could just, sometimes, here's the thing, what I found about lead generation is that a lot of it is just building and nurturing relationships.
Right.
So sometimes you may not get anything, you may not even ask for the business at that time. Sometimes you just got to nurture the relationship and then you can later ask for the business. So if it's not the right time to call her, then don't do that. But, it doesn't always have to be, sometimes it's about building that relationship or nurturing.
The 10th.
Okay.
My mom's birthday.
Well, I'm gonna get back to what I was doing, and if you need anything, just give me a call. Alright, later, bye.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't think that's it. The ground for the future one, so it should be okay. So, oh, I know, and I don't like smell almost so far away from here. Alright, see you later, bye.
This is really not in my comfort zone.
Hello, Mr. Laurel. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Are you at work right now? Nothing much. I just wanted to call and see if you got the email that I sent, the sponsorship form thing. By the 22nd. So you have that much time. But, I mean, do you need more time than that?
Hey, it's Ashley. I know that you're teaching right now, but I was calling because we're sitting in class and we're talking to some of our contacts, and I know that you guys have been renting for a while from your friend, and we talked while I was in school about how you might possibly be looking to buy soon. So I was wondering if we could talk for a few minutes whenever you get off today. I'll be here. Well, I'll be available anytime. If you just want to call me back, in case you don't have my number saved, it's 336-608-2335. I look forward to hearing.
Yeah.
Good. That was actually fun.
Good. You know, I have found that once you actually are doing it, it's not so bad, right?
No.
Okay. What are some wins? Do they have any wins?
I got a meeting with a developer
Good.
and a flooring guy.
Awesome.
Did my floors. 15 Mexicans that work their butts off and have big families. And his sister just got done with a divorce, so she's looking for a house.
Cool.
So I'm calling her at 3 o'clock back.
Good job. Very good. You had a win?
Yeah, I called one of my hairdressers.
Uh-huh.
Actually, she came to my house to all of us when my daughter got there.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't been in contact with her.
Uh-huh.
Well, through Facebook and stuff.
Right.
So she said, yeah, I'm thinking of selling my house.
Oh, good.
Cool. I was just notified that what I was doing, so yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
We're gonna have it next week.
Good job. That's great.
Well,
I know. You're like, this works. What else? Anybody else have a win?
I was reaching out to someone that liked my page on Facebook, and he said that they're actually going to be looking to sell their house and buy another one soon.
Good. It feels good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other wins?
Somebody's going to call me back later today.
Good.
They're renters and they're really wanting to buy, but they said that they have the people they're renting from is a friend, and they want to ask them for a option to buy their house from them. So that's new for me. I'll have to look into how to deal with that, but yeah, maybe I can help them.
Maybe you'll find some other better options out there on the regular market.
Also that too. Like, you don't have to be, because I've been to that house and yeah, I kind of want to. It's kind of small for their family, and I want to show them that they could get something more.
Cool.
Well, I called a lady from my Sunday school class, and her daughter actually sold and bought a new house 3 months ago.
Okay.
So that was before I was even signed on. But I got excited because I thought I could use that when I contact other ladies, so I can say, I just crossed paths with Nancy and found out that her daughter sold and bought a new home, and it made me realize I missed that. I need to get my name out to you before that happens again.
Yeah.
And so I called another lady and used that as
A way to make
that connection. So I'm not just.
That's good. That's good. Very good. Any other things or any other challenges or things you have a question on with this?
Yes. One of my friends, they're looking for like investment property. So they want to buy pretty cheap, like less than $100,000. But they want me to find out what is the average rent for each month, like near the building. And if they want to flex it around, like they want to fix something and they go sell it again, how much profit they're looking for. So how I can gather that information for the potential client like that. They want investment property.
I mean, what I would do, like, for the ones that are wanting to flip something, that's what you're saying like fix it up and sell it?
Yeah, either they want to rent for a couple of years, then sell it. They want to wait until they think it's a good time coming. They want to sell,
Right.
or they want to just go sell it, see which way is better. They want me to give them advice.
Yeah. Do any of you guys work with investors? What do you normally?
Well, right now it's the seller's market, so it's a little more difficult. There's a million buyers scrambling for a few amount of houses on multiple offers. My general rule of thumb is a 20K spread. Is that what you usually look for?
Yeah.
About a $20,000 spread from the time they purchase. Fix it up. They can make between 10 or 20 of them.
10 to 20. Okay.
So you want to look at what has sold.
Then there are a couple of rent trackers. Have you ever used any of those websites? I think it's renttracker.com. I'll have to double check on that.
Okay, I probably need that.
But if you put in an address, it shows you, like, it has like a little thing that says high rent in this area, this low rent is this area.
Because they want me to have full knowledge about what they're gonna do if they purchase a house. So they just
Well,
want
and
me.
one thing you may want to do is team up with somebody who knows investing until you yourself know so that you can learn it. So that may be, another.
And there's a bunch of
another
different
agents.
websites that have, like, the HUD Home Store, the Home Path, or any of you guys on any of those sites?
Which one? I went the hot one.
The HUD Home Store?
Uh-huh. That, but you need to pay a fee, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me by.
But if you're looking at investing in digital sites, you need to figure out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask them if you have questions.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions or challenges?
I picked up a buyer and a referral.
Good. That's great. That's really good. Were you calling your sphere or were you calling? Yeah.
I got through my B's and my C's and my phone.
That's good. That's great. All right. Awesome. So it is 10 o'clock. Did you guys bring note cards?
Yes.
Yes. Raise your hands if you brought note cards. So about half. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a 7-minute break. Go to the bathroom, start writing your cards if you've got them. If you need to make any phone calls outside of what we just did. And then be back here at 10:07. Okay? And then we'll keep going. So if you've got, what was that?
No.
Oh, were you recording me?
No.
I was like,
That was accidentally come up on some accident.
okay. If you're going to start writing your note cards on break, then there's some scripts here that you can use for your note cards for the people that you just spoke with. Okay?
All right. Need that card. I can probably get some.
Yeah, I have like anybody.
Nice.
Okay, then let's do this. Do you guys want to write cards and then take a break, or take a break and then write some cards?
Either way.
All right, 5-minute break, then we're going to come back and write cards. Okay? Unless you guys feel like you aren't ready for a break yet. No, that's break.
Figure it out.
Do you use digital business cards by any chance? Heard of anyone using them?
Not really.
Do you have that banner signature for your email? Yeah.
Mhm.
I forgot how we do that.
That's through Michael Lewis Marketing Suite.
Michael Lewis.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And does it do that for free or is it a charge?
Yeah, it's still free. We get, you can ask Kayla about how to log on, but it's, we have a free service for a person to send.
It's like a thread.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Another trick I've learned on note cards is if you do like a postcard or something like, that's just a small thing, you can even write in like a Sharpie or something rather than an ink pen, so it fills up the space more, and you just can write a quick little note like, great to talk to you, whatever, so that you're not having to come up with like this long thing to fill up the entire note card. Does that make
It's
sense?
just a one little card, and then it's got envelopes too. I think it's from Walmart. I actually sent my husband for them, so
Well, he did a
If
good
you
job.
put it,
yeah.
do you know if you put the envelope, you have to put the postcard stamp
Yeah.
or the letter stamp?
I just have regular.
Yeah. Okay. I think if you
Because-
send it like that, it can be postcard stamp, which is
Right.
cheaper. But if you put the envelope, it's the letter.
Oh, wait, tell me that. So if it's just the postcard, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Might look into that.
It's 36 cents.
Okay, because the regular stamp is what, 40?
49. Yeah. It's cheaper if you. That's where.
That's a good idea.
We do hear everything.
Well, they have the cheaper store.
Alright, so we're gonna get started on the notes. Page 13, you've got two different things you can say. One's to your meds, and one's to your, if you got a referral from somebody. So take about 5 minutes or so, write 2 or 3 notes to the people that you contacted today. If you've got business cards, enclose a business card. If you don't, then that's a good excuse to send them a card again as soon as you get your cards. So,
Random question.
Yeah.
You guys don't have like I used to buy these from my former company. Do you have anything like that with Claire Williams?
we have stationery, but I don't know if it has like,
Well, this is from Buffini. Like this is from Buffini stuff. If you know that is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Michael Lewis has anything.
Yeah.
Like this that you can like get on a campaign where they can send you like an item of value. Or
I think
whatever
so.
they
Yeah,
want.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that Michael Lewis does. Yeah.
I just need to investigate that.
Yeah.
But what do
They
you
have
use?
different-
Do you create your own? Do you do the e-edge?
I do the e-edge campaigns, and then I just handwrite note cards on like stuff, just blank things like that.
And what do you do? Like how many do you personally do a week? Note cards.
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of have not been in the habit, but what I'm doing now is when I'm calling my sphere or anybody else I talk to, like circle prospecting or something like that, then I just, because I'm doing with my sphere right now, asking if it's okay to keep calling them for referrals. So then if they say yes, then I just send them a card that says whatever, thanks for your support. I've enclosed a couple of my cards. If you need me, just let me know. And that's all I'm doing. Really my sphere.
Okay.
Or if it's somebody that I just talked to, like on a circle prospecting call, I'll do the same thing. Like, thanks for taking my call today. If there's anything I can do to help you in the future, please let me know.
So more purposeful when wearing them cards. So you're not sitting like, I drove by your house today, just thought of you.
I mean, I could do that too if I did, if I drove by. I'm doing them like after I talk to them on the phone, sending them something. Yeah.
There's so many different schools of thought, and I just didn't know like what the catering model is.
That's what I've been doing more of, is like a purposeful handwritten. It doesn't necessarily have to be a long drawn out note, but I'm just saying. Or if it's like Mother's Day or their birthday or whatever, just popping them a card in the mail. That's my thought that I'm intending to do.
Yeah, whatever.
You made
These
some
are all
cards.
less
Ashley
than
Smith, you would.
Yeah, I am sharing.
You guys need some cards? You got cards?
I got cards with my initial on them, so I can't share them. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. just draw a W next to it.
That's pretty clever. addresses, do people usually get like a sticker or just use a stamp or use the business return address?
I do the business return address, and I've been handwriting them, so I'm gonna get a stamp or some stickers just so that
Because
it's
it's
easier.
better, yeah. And if you get those little stickers and you put like KW in the corner or something, that's gotta get approved, right? Because it's a usable logo.
I guess so.
Okay.
You probably wouldn't turn it away though because it's more advertising. Unless you're writing not so cool things in your.
All right, finish up what you're writing. All right, so how does everybody feel after having done their prospecting and writing some notes so far today?
Good. That's good.
That's accomplished, right?
That's
Yeah. So this is kind of, Ignite is getting us into these habits of lead generation, blocking off the morning. And in the same way that all of your faces this morning were, when I'm like saying we're going to make some calls, are like stressed out. Now that it's over with, you feel good, right? You feel accomplished that you got it done, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the idea is that with your lead generation that you're going to be doing once you're out of Ignite, same thing. We're going to be doing that in the morning. Get that thing done. Make sure it gets done, and then the rest of the day will feel so much better. All right, so turn to page 14. All right. What's a real estate agent's number one job? Lead generation. So we're building our database, right? We're putting people into our database, correct? Okay, we're going to need a little more engagement of words so that I'm not just talking up here. All right. So yes, we're putting people in our database. Okay, good. We're going to put people on campaigns, right? Okay. One thing I've heard from folks in Ignite is that they're like, I've already called all the people I know. I don't have anyone else to call. Have you guys been experiencing any of that yet?
Yes.
You will. Okay. So the idea is that you're putting people in your database, you're contacting them. When you've contacted everybody in your database, what do we need to do then? Expand our database. Exactly. So to add to our database, what do we need to do? We need to lead generate for more contacts, right? Okay. So we're going to talk.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is it better to have? I'm coming from a different whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was always taught it's better to have condensed list of good A, B contacts rather than 5 million C's that aren't going to send you anything. So
Right.
what is the Keller Williams school of thought on this? Because I did,
Same, I would say.
because I have a top 100 that are past clients, church people, whatever, that I put on a campaign. But now calling through those 100 people, you burn through that quick.
Right.
So you're saying add to people, just continuing
Well, because what you want to do, we don't have it in here. In the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you've got, this is your world. So you've got, out here, this is everybody, this is everyone in the world, people you haven't met. In here, this is your A+. So these are people like your core advocates, your income determiners. These are the people that are giving you business repeatedly. And then these are like your A's, your B's, and your C's. So C's would be people who are not going to think about you when it comes to real estate. They may know you, but they may not refer you anything. B's, they may refer you if they think about it. A's, yeah, they're probably going to refer you, and these always do. So the idea is that you want to keep moving people in the database closer to here. So it would be awesome, like if you have 100 of these A+ people, it would be great to have 200 people who are going to send you one referral, and they're going to do one piece of business and one referral every year. I mean, that's a huge business, right? So the idea is that we want to focus on these people in the middle and make sure we're treating them, calling them frequently, making those real good connections. But then we want to keep moving people into the center. Does that make sense? Because you're right, you do burn through those 100 people real fast, and you're like, now what? So we want to get these people that may, oh, I know Amber, yeah, she sells real estate, but would they be the one to refer you right away?
So I need to target like that outside ring.
Right, you want to keep bringing those people in. The MREA says that for every 12 people in your database, if they're on a correct 33 touch, meaning they're being communicated with you, you are communicating with them 33 times through emails and phone calls, that they're going to give you 2 pieces of business a year. So you don't need 1 million people in your database. You just need people, good people that you're going to communicate with, and then you can keep growing it. Does that make sense? Okay. So, database. Okay, we're gonna go. Why is active lead generation important? What are y'all's thoughts on this?
Because it's where your business comes from.
Mm-hmm. That's where your business comes from.
You have to be approaching new people.
Approach new people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta meet new people. If you're only dealing with people you've ever met, then that's your limit there.
You have to have 12 in contact with them to generate proof. So
Mm-hmm.
you need a lot of these.
Right, exactly. Why else do we want to actively lead generate? What happens when we lead generate? We get leads. We get leads, right? So if you're lead generating a little bit here, and then you kind of stop, and then you lead generate again, and then you kind of stop, what happens to your leads? Are they going like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So if we're actively lead generating every single day, then we're going to be creating more of that steady stream of income, of business coming in, filling that future pipeline.
I don't know if I saw this on the video or did I learn it or hear it in a class, something about every day that you don't lead generate, 90 days later, that'll be a day that you have no business, like there'll be nothing come of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what you're doing now is not going to show up till 90 days later. So if you're like, say right now you've got a ton of business and you're so busy that you can't lead generate. Well, 90 days from now, you're probably not going to have any business going on. So it's important to keep it consistent even when you are busy, so that you're not doing this roller coaster thing that most agents experience. I mean, I can tell you that firsthand. Like, I took Bold in October, and you do tons of lead generation, very focused. You're very focused on your business. And so through January, February, and right now, my business has been good. But, there was a little bit of lapse in there where I wasn't lead generating because I was on vacation. And so, I'm kind of having to build that back up for what's going to happen 30, 60, 90 days from right now. Okay? So what do you think is different about lead generation of successful agents compared to not so successful agents?
Consistency.
Yeah. What else?
Discipline.
Discipline. Mm-hmm.
Diversification.
Diversification.
Yeah, from pay-per-clicks to social media to old school
Mm-hmm.
combination.
Mm-hmm. Doing different things. Mm-hmm. What else? Would you say that people who are successful at lead generation know what to say?
Yeah.
So they probably mastered those scripts, right? Okay. Yeah, successful agents, they make lead generation a daily habit. So they're doing it every single day. They want to master the skills to be successful at lead generation, and that includes time management to actually make the time to do it, and mastering those scripts. So like we were talking about, feeling comfortable talking on the phone and saying these things. That's all script practice. My husband and I have been doing script practice in the mornings, and it's amazing. Even just for 20 minutes, it makes me feel so much better when I'm getting ready to get on the phone, that I'm not like, word vomit on them. I'd rather do it on him. So, not literally.
But that's money, so literally.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's move on to making it happen, page 15. So lead generation is our #1 job. We've already talked about this. And there are many different ways to lead generate. So like you were saying, pay-per-click, social media, we talked about door knocking, making calls, actually being out in the public. All of these things are lead generation. We are generating leads by doing all of this. Prospecting is a form of lead generation. It's the quickest, most productive way to get leads and appointments for your business. It's also the least expensive way to do it because you've already got cell phones. You're already paying for your plan. It doesn't cost anything more to pick up the phone and call people, right? Okay. Okay. So, what we're doing when we're prospecting is, as you know, it takes a lot of leads to get an appointment. It takes a lot of appointments then to get an agreement, a listing agreement, buyer agency agreement. Then from that agreement, contract, and then those you get under contract, not all of them go to closing. So you got to have a lot to actually get to payday, right? Okay. Everybody
Yes,
stand up.
yes,
Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up.
My brain is
All right. We're going to say another affirmation. Yep. This one is, I'm a great salesperson. Okay? We're going to say it 3 times together. 1, 2, 3.
I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson.
All right. Sit down.
John got the hook. John got the hook.
He's going to be one in his car on the way to his appointment, like, I'm a great salesperson. Okay, good. All right. So, we need to have a lot of leads. The point is, we need to have a lot of leads in order to get things closed. Okay? The more you prospect, the more you call people, the more leads you're going to get, and the more closings you're going to have. So,
And paying for leads, Laurel will attest to this. If you're paying Zillow or pay-per-click, it takes so many more leads. Like the numbers are so skewed. If it's somebody you know that refers you, like you're like 10 times more likely to close that person in the business rather than cold internet leads that are coming through like 1 out of 32 is the number.
yeah, the conversion rate on internet leads is super, super low compared to talking to people you already know or even just people you meet. That's going to be so much higher, your conversion. So what that boils down to is less work to get paid.
The uncomfortable, weird call you gotta make is the call you need to make.
Let me just say this, okay? I had a real problem with calling my database. I was like, I am not calling them. I'll call anybody. I will call anybody that I don't know, but I will not call my database, okay? And last year, around September or so, I had an aha that all my business was coming from my sphere. Why was I not calling to ask for more of it? Like, that's where it was all coming from anyway. So I made a commitment that I was going to start calling my database. And it's uncomfortable at first, for sure. But it's just so amazing how much business you actually will start getting. And it takes a little bit. Sometimes you got to build up those relationships like we were talking about. Haven't talked to them in a while, whatever. But I made a call on last Wednesday to one of my past clients. I didn't want to call him because he had asked me to do something and I kind of dropped the ball on it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to call him. But I just did it anyway. And he calls me back and he's like, oh, I'm so glad you called. My cousin is here visiting from Ohio. They want to buy a house. Can you meet us tomorrow? I met him the next day. They're a cash buyer. We've made an offer. Like, if I wouldn't have picked up the phone, I would never have gotten that. So it is uncomfortable, but like you're saying, the return on your time and your investment is so much more on people that you already know.
You basically want them to think about, they think realtor or hear anybody talking about sales, like you want to be at the forefront of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a crazy situation happen this week as well, like that. A referral come through Monday when I was in here on Facebook. And it was a person that they had went to a realtor, showed them 2 houses, they weren't happy. So a friend of theirs gave them my information, met with them, signed by our agency Monday night. We wrote an offer yesterday, $450,000 cash buyer.
So what is like the
Oh wow.
for cash closing timeline usually look like for a cash buyer? Like, is it shorter?
Yeah.
Oh, like significantly shorter?
Like,
or
it could be a couple weeks, or it could be 30 days, whatever they want. And that's the thing, you're contacting the people in your life on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah. Oh look, I'm already working my dance mom friends.
It's keeping them aware. You're sending them emails, they're going to see your name come across, they may or may not open them, but when you're actually having these conversations with them, they want to help you, they like you. They're going to want to think about you, so you just got to remind them to think about you. Okay?
When I used to live in Northern Virginia, when I was selling my house, first I was buying one, then like 2 years later, I sold the other. And it was this guy in church, but he wasn't a realtor, just like us. But I used him to buy a big house because I was like, I'd rather give the business to somebody that I know, so the person can benefit the total stranger. So it's better, you know, with people that you know instead of
Exactly.
the ball rolling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys know there are some nutty realtors out there that do not do a good job. And so even if you have never even sold something, at least you care about these people. You're going to make sure they're not going to be screwed over, or you're not going to drop the ball. I mean, you're going to make sure that you're connected with somebody that knows what to do. So don't be scared that you don't know what to do yet. Like, just focus on the fact. Here's at the bottom of page 15. When we're lead generating, what's the relationship opportunity here? We're building these relationships with the people that we know so that they're going to trust us with their real estate needs. So just keep building it. It doesn't matter if they don't give you a lead. It doesn't matter if they don't say they're ready to buy or sell. You're going to be in this business for a while, so it doesn't matter if it's today or next year. We want them to call us, right?
And you have something they want and need. You have expertise they don't possess.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, page 16. So prospecting is an investment and a commitment to your business. What do you guys, we talked about this a little bit. Benefits of prospecting. Let's discuss those. So again, what's prospecting?
Lead generation. Well, established.
It's a form of lead generation. More specifically, prospecting is making a two-way contact asking for business. What's marketing?
That's just like putting your info out there, right?
Right. Marketing is like a one-way, like posting a "We Buy Houses" sign on the corner. That's marketing. If that person called me and said, "I want to buy your house," that's prospecting. Does that make sense? Our emails we send out is marketing. Me calling my sphere is prospecting.
So prospecting and marketing fall under the umbrella of lead generation.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's a huge lead generation umbrella, and prospecting is just one form of it. It's the most efficient way, it's the least expensive way, and it's the most productive. You're going to get business a lot faster if you would just pick up the phone or get out and talk to people. Okay, so kind of gave you the answers there, but it's inexpensive, inexpensive, and it yields immediate results. You got a buyer lead, you got a referral. You said you've got a for sale, John, you got a for sale by owner that you're going to talk to. Like, these are immediate things. If you would just posted your information on Facebook, do you think you would have gotten the same results?
But you can still do that.
You can still do that,
Yeah.
but the thing is, we want to be prospecting-based marketing enhanced, okay? So that means we're calling and then we're going to enhance it by doing the marketing. Does that make sense? Puts you in control of filling your pipeline of leads. If you're the one actively making the calls, who's in control? You are. If you're waiting for the call to come in, you're not in control, are you? It increases your confidence in your skills. The more you do it, the better you will be at it. You'll become more comfortable making all kinds of calls. You'll be more confident just talking to people. And it keeps you in direct contact with the market, shifts, things like this. When the market shifts and you're the one that's always been in contact with people, they're going to keep calling you when those other people are out of business. Okay, let's go down to the bottom of 16. Can somebody read the myth for us?
Prospecting equals annoying people equals rejection.
Okay, somebody can read the truth. Lisa, read the truth. What's the truth, Lisa?
The truth. Prospecting equals meeting people and building purposeful business. Relationships equal a strong real estate business.
Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel? That's just
Well,
an
it's
affirmation
bad.
you tell yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I need to tell myself that. I know this isn't nothing personal with anybody, but I get so tired of people going, do you want to buy Mary Kay? Do you want to buy my oils? And you've got 5 different people in your church selling oils, and all of their oils is better than somebody else's oils because they're more, and
You
Well,
should
do you
feel
think
bad if
selling
they're
real
about to do
estate
it.
is the same?
I mean, but like they're, and it's like,
Now you can just say, can we exchange information?
it's and it's
With me
like
whenever
every,
you're-
I don't know, it's everywhere
Yeah.
you go, and so I feel like I'm jumping into that.
So I think maybe one thing to think about, and maybe this can change the way you think about it, is consider yourself more of a consultant than a salesperson. You know, and if you're being the expert and you're communicating that value to people, then they're going to want to talk to you about it, rather than just being like, anybody that's looking to buy or sell, that's what I'll say, like, and that would be the only conversation you ever have with them, like, yeah, that is annoying. But if you're communicating value, they see you as an expert, and you're having that confidence, they're going to want to work with you. Yeah.
You're a professional. You went to
Yeah.
school. You're licensed to do this. This is your career. This is your job. This is not a home-based business that you paid $99 to join.
Right. And I think we have to think of ourselves in that way. Like, we are salespeople, yet we are consultants. We're here to help them do one of the most difficult and biggest purchases of their lives. So we need to consider ourselves as a consultant. And we're just building these relationships. And the more you build the relationship, then the more they're going to trust you. And the more they trust you, then they're just going to want to work with you. So that's, Amber, have you built your business on relationships?
My goal was to be like the real estate girl. So when somebody says real estate, like, I'll pop in their head, So I'm like, oh, by the way, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, keep me in mind. Every time, oh, by the way, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, please keep me in mind. Oh, by the way. Every single time. Or in my cards, I said every single time, keep me in mind, keep me in mind, keep me in mind. They say it takes like, how many times? 12 times?
Well, there's like the 8 by 8, you know, 8 times over 8 weeks to really cement something. You only have so much brain space for remembering.
Because a lot of times you'll find people like, oh, I forgot you were in real estate. Man, I don't even remember your name,
And they say in marketing, it takes 23 times for the person to remember every night store.
That's why this prospecting is so important. You're actually having those conversations. That's going to cement it more. All the people, I'm just thinking of the top agents in our office, and they're all have built a business by developing those relationships and working with people they know. Or not even working with people they know, but just developing the relationships with people they meet and building a big business.
And you will, at some point, you will get your feelings hurt. Somebody will say, I don't want to work with somebody that I know because they don't want you to know their personal information. So just.
Great, I've got an excellent agent that I can refer you to.
There you go.
All right. So let's just keep this in mind. Maybe we need to post this on our mirror or above our desk. We're not annoying people. We're helping people. There are some wacky agents out there we do not want our friends and family working with. We're protecting them. Okay?
That's right.
All right. Moving on to page 17. 4 C's of prospecting. Oh, wait a minute. No, not yet. All right. 4 C's of prospecting. So prospecting is a conversation, just as we keep saying. It's about creating personal connections that will lead to purposeful relationships that we can build our business on. So we've got 4 simple steps for prospecting. First, C is capture. Then we're going to connect. So we're going to capture leads by getting their contact information. We're going to connect by establishing a relationship. We're going to close for an appointment or a referral. And then we're going to cultivate and maintain and strengthen that relationship. So somebody tell me, what do business building conversations, what's the goal of our business building conversations? Get an appointment or get a referral, right? That's what we're trying to get when we make these calls. But what do they always do? Yes, exactly. So it's always a win if you talk to them and you continue building that relationship, even if they're not ready at that time. All right, so turn to page 18. We're going to talk about capture. The goal of building your database, and this is what we talked about with this circle graphic over here. The goal to build your database is you want to capture those haven't mets, and we want to turn them into mets, and then turn our mets into repeat and referral business. So we're moving them into the inner circle, right? So you've been capturing contact information for the people that you've been talking to. We're getting them in the database. Have you guys set up your EDGE databases yet?
I put some stuff in there.
Okay.
I'm working on the transfer.
Working on it. Okay.
On the transfer is the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And I need to call them.
Okay. So get them in somewhere where you can have all their contact information. You're keeping notes of how when you're talking with them, like we were talking about, putting the notes in there, and keeping notes about when you're going to contact them again. So we want to make sure when we're talking to people, and this seems like a no-brainer, but I forget it all the time, is we want to make sure we have all their correct contact information. So their phone number, their email address, their street address. So you can just casually add it on. By the way, what's your email address? By the way, what's your cell phone number? Make sense? Easy enough?
Is there a thing on EDGE that will tell you, like, remind you their birthday's coming up, or do you have to physically go in and check every week?
It does not remind you that the birthday's coming up. It reminds you of, I don't think it does. It reminds you of the purchase anniversary. So what I'm doing is just putting a reminder in.
So there's nothing automated where you can say send out birthdays.
It sends out a birthday email automatically, like if you put them on the birthday campaign. But you don't get a reminder saying, I don't think you get a reminder saying,
to call
so-and-so, it's their birthday. But if you put them on the birthday campaign, they will get that email from you. Okay. All right. So can we all commit to capturing contact information?
Yes.
Because if they're not answering our phone calls, we want to be able to mail them or email them, right? Okay. All right. Number 2 on page 19 is connect. So with our connecting, we are wanting to build this relationship. We want to establish rapport and we want to establish trust. One of the best ways that we can do this is with questions. So when we're asking for questions, or when we're talking to them and asking them questions, we want to go 3 deep with them. So what that means is if they say, hey, Amber, tell me what you're looking for in your next home. Yeah.
Looking for a bedroom, 2-bathroom house, under 200 in High Point.
Okay. So what part of High Point are you looking in?
For Southwest schools.
Southwest schools. What's important to you about Southwest schools?
The scores are good out there. I want my kid to go to a good school. Is that a school you recommend?
I'll leave that up to you too. Look into what's best for you and your family.
There you go.
But see what I did, like High Point is a good size area. So I could, if I just left it at High Point, I would never have known that it was very important for her that her kids go to Southwest schools. So that's an example of digging 3 deep. Whatever they say, ask, oh, so what more specifically about that? Or we want a big yard. Oh, tell me more about what the yard you envision. Oh, so because their vision of a big yard may be whatever, or they may need space for their dog, or they may need space for their garden, like that would change things maybe. So we want to go through these. And also, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but when you're having a conversation and the person who is doing the most talking thinks that it's a great conversation. Like if you're asking them questions, they're telling you about themselves, they think it's great. People like to talk about themselves, So the more questions you ask, the more they're going to be feeling comfortable talking with you. All right, so let's go to our connecting questions. We are going to read these out loud together, starting with getting the details for our database. If you would, we're saying these together. If you would, please tell me a little bit. We're saying these together.
Oh.
If you would, please tell me a little bit about your family, job, life, etc. What are you looking for? What do you want to do? Where would you like to buy? Where is your home located? Why are you moving? When would you like to do this? How do you plan to do this? So we're looking for those who, what, when, where, why, where they're actually having to answer us rather than a yes or a no, right? We want to get more information than yes or no. Another thing that I have a struggle with that I have to work on is that when I ask them a question, then I also want to give them all of the answers and make it like a multiple choice, like, oh, you can think about downsizing, where do you want to be, like High Point or Jamestown or Greensboro, like, where do you want to be? And then shut up. I don't need to tell them all these things, like just ask the question and then be quiet and let them talk. You get so much more out of it when they actually start opening up to you, right? So that's something I don't know if you guys struggle with that, but that's definitely something that I have to work on. All right, and then number 3, page 20, we're going to close. So it's great to make the contacts and it's great to make these connections, and yet until we close for the business, we're not going to get business. So it's crucial to learn how to ask for business, because that's how we're going to make money, right? So our goal for the appointment, or our goal for the call, is to get an appointment, get a referral, or a reciprocal connection with them. So what would you guys say would be, or do you guys know what I mean when I say a reciprocal connection? Talking about the essential oils, we were just kind of talking about this.
Well, that's where you both agree.
Well, what we're talking about with this would be, like, say your friend at church or whatever is selling essential oils. Mm-hmm. Then you could say, well, maybe we could help each other out. Or if you're talking to your hairdresser, I always need to have people that are asking me when they move to town, who's a great hairdresser. I'd love to refer you business, and I'm sure you hear when people are getting ready to buy and sell. Could you refer me business as well? So developing that reciprocal relationship. Does that make sense?
How much business do you personally get from that kind of, like, do you get a lot of business from doing that? From reciprocal?
I don't get a ton, but I'm also haven't been very purposeful about saying, like, I expect, if I'm giving my money to you, I expect you to send me business as well. Some people are much more direct and purposeful, and I just haven't been that way, but that's my goal, for this next year, is to be more purposeful about where I'm spending my money.
I specifically have said to people, I feed you, you feed me.
Yeah.
So do you get
like lenders and stuff? If I'm sending lenders business, they're sending
business. Yeah, I've already contacted
I do that with lenders.
Mm-hmm. But my hairdresser will ask from me, my life insurance provider will ask from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, anywhere where you're spending money, and especially if they're commission-based or referral-based business, like, definitely that's a connection to establish. So if you're looking for people to call, that would be a great place to start. All right, so we're going to go through, I'm going to have you guys go around the room and do these closes. Okay. So Ashley, we're going to start with you. So these are various closes. Be thinking as you're hearing them, what is a close that I would use today? Okay.
Just start at the top.
Let's meet. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's meet. Just say let's meet.
Yeah. Okay. Let's meet.
Okay.
This is me. I'm always my husband says you always give people an out. Stop giving people an out. I really enjoy visiting with you. When would you like to get together to discuss this further?
And
Can you meet today or would tomorrow be better?
Would it be okay if I got you some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss?
we're on the trial class, yeah.
I think you would be great that we have gone over enough today. That meeting would be our next step.
It sounds like we should meet. I'm available most times this week, so what works best for you?
Would you be offended if I asked if we could meet to go over this?
I've really enjoyed visiting with you. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can be of help or not, but I would be honored if we could find out.
Wouldn't it make sense for us to meet in the next day or so?
What works better for you? Meeting today, sometime this afternoon, or tomorrow morning?
Great. That works out perfectly with the number of students. So circle a one or two that you would be feel like is something that you would say right now, or that you would feel comfortable using right away, and share if you'd like. John, which one would you use?
The hard close.
The hard close? Amber, you said you use the direct close. We meet today or tomorrow would be better. Anybody else?
I like number 8. It's people like to help each other. And if they feel that you're, I can use the, hey, I'm new to Greensboro. I don't know anyone. I'd really appreciate your help. I'm not sure if you can or not, but everyone wants to help out there. So that's been working for me, actually. That's how I got these other contact.
Good. Happy with how
I'm probably, I have used all these before in the past, but I'm pretty direct.
Right.
When would you like to meet? Would you like to, is today better, tomorrow better? What fits your schedule best?
Right, and the thing with it is, you're basically giving them one option or two options, not for them to say, can you meet or would you like to? We're like saying, okay, we should meet. Would today at 3 or tomorrow at 4 be better? Like, rather than
You're still putting the ball in the court, but you're making them make a decision.
that you're making them make a decision rather than just saying yes or no. And that's the idea. We're trying to close them. So, and with different people that you're talking to, like if you're talking to somebody who's super direct, they may not respond as well to, well, would you be offended if I said that maybe we should meet? Then maybe you want to just say, let's meet today, 3 or tomorrow, 4 work better. So you're kind of getting a read on their personality. But if they're more of an S, like somebody who's a little more quiet or stable, then maybe you don't want to use a direct thing. So you kind of get practice of using those.
No, I think I like the answer say I really enjoy talking to you or listening, because that gives a good feedback to them.
Exactly. Right. Makes them feel good. Exactly. All right. So page 21. The last thing we're going to do is cultivate. So whether or not you've closed for an appointment, gotten a referral, once that connection's been made, you can always strengthen it. This is an ongoing process. I had these people who came to one of my open houses. This was last year. They came in, I think it was like in January. They came to an open house. I got their contact information. They said they wanted to buy a house. And I was going to do a buyer's consultation, and they just kept flaking on me, then stopped answering my calls. And I'm like, forget them. And then I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep calling them and just keep calling and keep calling. And I called once a week or maybe a little bit less frequently. Finally, at the end of last year, they called me out of the blue. And they were like, the deal fell through on the house that we were going to buy. We want to work with you. Can we come and talk to you about buying a house? And then they bought a house for me. And I had only really talked to them like a couple of times, but I just kept calling and kept calling and kept calling. And finally, they got back to me. So it's an ongoing thing. Don't give up if people are not answering your calls, you're only getting voicemails, whatever. Just keep going. The fortune is in the follow-up. About 75% of your business is going to come from your lead follow-up. Not just, so when you're making these calls, 25% maybe you get a lead and you get it right there. The rest of it, 75%, you're going to be from nurturing and continuing to follow up those leads. So, cultivating, we want to set them up on a system so that we're staying in touch with them. So that's what these campaigns are going to be about: 33 touch, the 8x8, all of that. So make sure, if you didn't get a chance to look at the mission from last week that talked about getting into the e-edge my marketing, converting leads to clients with the touch campaign, then make sure you take a look at that and work on getting that set up so that you can be staying in constant contact with this. The other thing that I use in e-edge is there's a reminder feature. So you can, if you have the contact in e-edge, then you can set a reminder. If you say you talked to them today and they said, we may be thinking about buying next year or something like that, and you say, okay, well, would it be okay if I just stayed in touch with you periodically to see, how things are going for you and if you need anything in the meantime? Oh, sure, that'll be fine. So then I'm going to set a reminder that I want to call them in another 30 to 60 days. So I can set a reminder in the edge, and when I go to the dashboard, it's going to pull up that reminder so I remember to call them. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And then at the bottom, just a note about this: if anybody gives you a referral, make sure that you're thanking that person who's sent you a referral, and then updating them on what is going on with that buyer, and then or buyer or seller, and then once they close, telling them again, maybe giving them some other kind of gift or something like that. Does anybody have any things that they use or plan to use for thank you gifts for referrals?
You're looking right at me. I've bought knives before and had them engraved with my information. I've sent magazine subscriptions. I've done custom done mats, people that are really big sports fans know what their team is, and I have something with their name on it of their team. So every time they walk over their front door, they think of me. Every single time.
That's a good question I was thinking about that the other day, because I know in class, I remember there was the do's and don'ts of referrals, of what you can and can't do for a referral, for compensation, so to speak. So you can do gifts.
Clothing gift, a nominal gift. You can give them a trip on a Caribbean cruise.
But it can't be monetary. It can be right.
I've done a gift card before.
Yeah, what I'm planning on doing, I have this on my list of things to do, but as I was just going to get a stack of $5 gift cards from Starbucks. And then if somebody gave me a referral on the phone, then I would just pop it in the mail, so I've already got it, and say, thanks so much for the referral, $5, get a coffee. And then once that person if that person actually buys or sells, they close, then I would do something else for them. Sometimes I've given them a gift card to a restaurant or different stuff like that. So
I've also done people that are relocating to North Carolina. I've done baskets with stuff from North Carolina in it, cherry wine and crazy stuff. And I've even had an artist, if any of you guys have a higher price client, they'll draw a picture of the house and they'll put the name Smith, established 1/31/2017, and it'll be a pencil drawing in a nice matted frame, $70. $80.
That's good.
But that's something they have forever.
Yeah.
And every time they pass it, they think of you. So it's a sneaky little way to stay on their mind.
Exactly. All right. So we've talked about, does the 4 C's make sense? So what are we doing with the 4 C's? What's the first one? Capture. We need to have their contact info, right? And then what's the second C? Connect. Building that relationship, asking them questions, going pretty deep. What's the third?
Close.
That's right. Can't get the business if we don't ask for it. So we got to ask for the business. And then the fourth one is cultivate. So it's always a win if we just keep talking to them, keep cultivating, don't give up, keep calling. Okay? All right. So we're going to watch a video. So we've talked about talking with people we already know, and one of the questions was maybe finding more leads. So this video is about finding more leads. So as you're watching the video, just think about what stands out to you. We're going to discuss it afterwards. Nope.
By calling your Mets your sphere of influence. You have even reached out. Lead generation is your #1 job. You have started by calling your Mets your sphere of influence. You have even reached out via social media. But what do you do when you run out of contacts? Where can you find more leads? There are many places you can find additional prospecting opportunities. Think about your children's sporting events or activities. And don't forget about your own organizations and clubs. Your children's school or PTA would be an excellent source for contacts, as well as your place of worship. Even your mechanic. They rely on referrals for their business just like you do. Using these and other sources for prospecting opportunities will lead to more contacts and referrals that will grow your business. More contacts and referrals will lead to more appointments, listings, and closings. This will help you meet and exceed your goals.
All right, so what are y'all's ahas? What stood out to you on that?
The mechanic part. My husband, he's not one now, but he used to work for a car, as a mechanic for a car dealership. So I just was like, I need to go over there because they still love him.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go over there and talk to some of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else?
I have a natural source because I have a business.
Mm-hmm.
So people come in.
Mm-hmm.
I have a chicken business and I have hired for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them are my friends already.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know I'm doing real estate. So telling everybody.
So
So
telling
like the paying for is working naturally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I'm not here and there,
Mm-hmm.
letting people know and sharing their
Mm-hmm.
app.
Mm-hmm.
Even recruiting. One lady said she wanted to start to do the class.
That's good.
So I was like, yeah, I can join us.
Yeah. So kind of overlapping your two worlds.
Exactly. Amazing all the search tools and the message sharing.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping me do the stuff for my
For your
store
business
that I
too. Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's right.
Good. What other ahas do you guys have?
Okay, since no one will talk. Mine was sort of the same as Ashley's because I drive a lot, so I am in my dealership having oils changed and all that stuff done quite a bit, and the tires changed all the time in a different tire place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go in there today because when you're on a first name basis with those kinds of people, because you're there so frequently, they want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
The pizza places that you order from regularly as you're rolling in the door, they want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I had one of my businesses, I let actually a realtor put all her things on my counters, and her business picked up right away because people were coming through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And up whatever she had, like the schedules for, what's your baseball team here?
Grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers, yeah. She was putting out schedules for Grasshoppers with her business cards on them, and they were flying out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So just that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't think of it because you're there so frequently, you're mindless, you're going in, you're trying to get your own stuff done. But they know you and they want to connect with you and help you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Church is one place that I feel like I haven't really taken as much advantage of as
Yeah.
I should have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes I don't want to do business like at church.
Right.
But recently people have been coming to me and like that feels better. But I'm actually advertising at the play that we're doing on the back. So that's my first like real big.
What a great idea.
So I want everybody to know that like I do real estate.
Sorry, I was thinking about the dance recital program. They advertise in that, so I'm gonna remember to
Well,
do
could you
that.
call? Like, do you have a directory? Would you feel comfortable calling?
I don't have a directory, but I have offered to teach a class the whole money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
That's
Cool. That's
That's
good.
at church. We
That's
have
good.
about 800 members. So
You teach a class or what?
first time home fire class.
Something else, there's if you go to kellerinc.com, they have the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and they actually have a program, a PowerPoint for leading an investor seminar. So that's another,
What is it called?
if you go to kellerinc.ink, it's publishing, you can lead, there's a material in there for you to lead an investor seminar. So that could be even good for you to read to understand the investing side more. Because, when you teach something, you learn it more. So that's two different people you can hit. First-time home buyers and people who are more established and want to be investing. So
Is there any material that you know for the first time home buyers?
I don't know that there is on that, but you can
You will
also
be good at this.
you can also like pair up with a lender. I've done that before. Like I've done a seminar in here, and they provided a lot of stuff, and I just kind of taught. So they went through because people have a lot of questions about the lending, really. So that they take care of all that.
And sometimes they'll pre-approve them on the spot.
Yep.
For you. So you'll walk out with a handful of buyers.
All right, so let's move on to page 23. Your sphere of influence. Who's your sphere of influence?
Your people.
The people. They know you,
And
they
their
trust
people,
you.
some of their people.
Well, yeah, that's yep. Yeah, if you look at this little circle thing, we're on page 23. You've got you in the middle, and it's kind of the same thing as our little circle bullseye over there. Your sphere is those people in that first circle there. So your spouse, your partner, your neighbors, your family members, your friends, your immediate family, and then, like you said, the people that they know. Then it starts kind of building out from there, and all the other people that you know in your life, your mechanic, people from your church, things like this. So that inner circle, those are the people you're going to look to the most often. I've heard people call them income determiners because they're the ones that are going to send you the most business. They're going to determine your income. Most of your business probably in your first year is going to be from people that you already know because, like you said, they trust you. They're willing to take a chance on you. All right. So turn to page 24. We're going to kind of jog our memory about some people that may be in our sphere that we've not thought about. So we've got this little chart here. What we're going to do, we're going to take 10 minutes. We're going to take 5 minutes. And we're going to write down as many names as you can for each category. And we're going to make this little competition. So whoever's got the most names at the end is going to be the winner. So thinking outside the box. And if there's other people you think of, write it in this other category. Okay? Ready, set, go. Okay, start finishing up. All right, count up your people you got. All right, who has more than 20? Keep your hands up. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
Yeah, so it's just, I might be cheating a little bit. So
Cheater.
There was a big block party when we first got there,
Uh-huh.
and we just moved there in August
Mm-hmm.
area, and during this block party, they asked for who's going to volunteer for the next one next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I volunteered, and now we're going to have a captive audience, and that's coming up here in a couple months. So I think that's a pretty good opportunity.
That's good.
So, well, what I also got in that was a spreadsheet of all the neighbors around me, which is like about 150 people, and they always attend this thing.
Yeah.
So that might be something.
That's great. Yeah.
Farm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
I wrote down 60,
Mm-hmm.
but I have more than that.
Yeah.
How many I was able to write down.
That's great. What were some of y'all's ahas on things that maybe you hadn't thought about before?
The block party.
Block party?
That
Yeah.
just popped into my head.
Yeah. What else?
I'm also a North Carolina certified paralegal, and I belong to the Guilford County Paralegal Association, so I've got all those contacts that I never thought about.
Yeah. That's great. That's good. And even if they're, not in this area, you could contact them to, generate referral business.
Right.
Good. What else? What else?
Past coworkers. I thought of a bunch more that I hadn't had in the front of my mind the past, I guess a week since I've been here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of like uncovering those people that maybe you wouldn't have thought about otherwise. But anybody you know is an opportunity. We just got to remember them. So coming up with a list like this kind of helps jog your memory. And this is something you can do too, like going through the phone book or the yellow pages and looking at who do I know who's an attorney? Who do I know who's an appraiser? Who do I know who's an accountant? And those are just ways to jog your memory of people who are in your life, but maybe you don't think about them all the time. All right, page 25. So this is kind of how we break down. This is how we break down those 3 hours of lead generation. So who, when I say 3 hours of lead generation, tell me, do you think that we're calling for 3 hours straight? Yes, no? No?
I
Good.
never call for 3 hours.
Well, good. We're not calling for 3 hours straight. Although you may decide based on your goals that is what you need to do. That's not what we're talking about right now, though. So, you're a new agent. You can and should spend more than 3 hours doing this. Chris Heller says that we earn the right to only do 3 hours of lead generation. So, until you've got the business, we need to be lead generating as much as possible. So, to prospect efficiently and consistently, because that's what we want to do, there's 3 processes in those 3 hours of daily lead generation. So we call this the 3-3 for time blocking, the 3 things that are to be done in the 3 hours. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare. So 30 minutes, we're going to prep our call list. So who are we going to call? We're going to prepare that list. We're going to say our affirmations, and we're going to focus on our big why. Then we're going to practice our scripts. Okay? Step 2 is the taking action. Sorry. Okay, taking action. So this is when we're actually doing the prospecting. We're making the calls, and as we're making the calls, you got to figure out what works best for you. But what I do while I'm doing it, I've got a headset so that I can have my hands free. And so while I'm making the calls, I'm typing the notes as I'm talking with them. If you feel better, writing it as you talk to them, whatever works for you, you got to figure out what works for you and what you can do consistently.
So do you go into eEdge and you update and set the reminders and all that stuff in there, and that is your go-to site, like for your lead gen?
So what I have been doing, I have been using eEdge, and I also use a dialer, the Mojo dialer. And what I had done was moved everybody into Mojo, and I was going to use it all through there. However, we're getting a new basically CRM with Keller Williams rolling out in the 3rd quarter. So I want to keep everything in eEdge because then it will convert easier to this new site. So now I'm putting everything back in eEdge. But what I'm doing is as I'm calling, I'm writing my notes in there, and then I can set a reminder to call it again. All right, let me back up.
And it'll pop up, like eEdge will pop you an email saying call this person.
Yeah. What I really do, what I just started doing, which I really, really love, is this thing called Do the Database Too. And you can look on Facebook. They have a group. And what it essentially is a system for calling your database. So what you do is you call 2 letters a week. So like last week it was P and L. This week it was S and U. And each week it's something different. So you call 2 letters a week. That takes 13 weeks. That's 1 quarter. So that means if you're calling consistently, you're calling them 4 times a year. So people in my database, that's how often I need to call them. So I'm not setting them up on a specific reminder to call them in 3 months. I have the system in place so that I can do that. But if it's a specific thing, like if they say, we're thinking about buying in a month, could you follow up with us? Then I want to make sure I'm putting a specific reminder in to call them in whatever time period. Does that make sense?
2 letters a week?
2 letters a week. Mm-hmm. So I really like that so far because it's very clear on who I need to call. There's not a lot of basically I can't screw around by saying, oh, I'm going to skip this person and starting with A and never getting to Z. Like it's S and U. I got to call S and U. And if maybe I just talk to them, then I won't call them. I'll save it for the next quarter. But I know I'm going to talk to them again because I've got this system set up where I'm automatically going to
Do you call also out of state people?
Do I call what?
Out of state people? Like
Out of state.
You call.
Yeah.
You can still get referrals.
Yeah.
That'll be
Referrals.
a
Yeah. So this is what I do with them.
Only
For like lead follow-up, I would put a physical reminder in there to remind you specifically of what
I think we're all probably just fumbling through eEdge and figuring out what it's capable of. It's very overwhelming.
Yes. Well, that's my best practice that I have found so far. I mean, I had done it where I set literally every person in the database with a reminder to call them so often, and then I'd have like a zillion reminders, and that was really overwhelming. So to be honest, I've only been doing this for 2 weeks, but I have actually done it for 2 weeks, which is that's a win for me.
Yeah.
So that's that. I have enjoyed that so far, and then just set a reminder for.
And is this Do the Database Too? Is that a Keller Williams group?
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is actually you can take this thing called, what is it called? I don't know, it's a group database coaching call, a group coaching call on the database, but this is something that they teach in it. But I learned this at Family Reunion, and so this is, but I think you can go on and find the schedule for that. Or I can send it to you. If you want me to send it to you, just email me, okay? So that's what I've been doing on that. I think that, to me, that's my best practice on following up with people and calling them. You have to do what's best for you, but that's what I have found so far. And if you can keep everything in eEdge, we're going to have a really awesome new system coming up. So just kind of like tough it out for the next 6 months or so, and then it's going to be awesome.
And we'll be able to transfer our stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have like in my phone, I have the same person like twice or 3 times, and when I update, sometimes it doesn't update because it's updated in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So if we transfer that and it repeat the same, you have 3 different.
Well, it will only let you put if there's already somebody in there with the same email, it won't let you update it. But I'm not sure about the phone numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it will ask you or something that.
It'll say like there's a duplicate that it wouldn't come in. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna back to the 3 and 3. So the first thing we're gonna do is prepare. Second thing we're gonna do is take action. And third thing we're gonna do is maintain. So we want to. Somebody read these for me. What we're gonna do in the maintain.
Track results, schedule commitments, and write thank you notes.
Exactly. So, track results, track results, track results. We want to keep track of what we're doing, remember? Why is that so important?
When you follow up with people.
And, yeah, know when we need to follow up with people. Why else do we want to track what we're doing? So we can know our conversion rates.
Oh, yeah.
So we can predict our business. Okay? All right. So, page number 26 at the top, prepare. We are going to, the first thing we're going to do is prep our call list. So, who are some ideas of people that we could call?
Family
Mm-hmm.
for referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what referrals there?
So our sphere, our for sale by owners, leads, neighbors, of just listed, just sold, expired, things like this. All right, what's the second thing we're going to do? We're on page 26.
Scripts.
Rehearse scripts. Okay. Formal script practice, daily activity that you can do with a script partner, part of a team. You can do it by yourself in front of a mirror. It's better to do it with a partner. This is a really great way to get good at what you're saying. People, how many hours do you need to do something in order to master it? 10,000. So how many, at 20 minutes a time of script practice, how many years would it take you to master it? A long time. So the point is, everybody could use the script practice every day. My coach said,
Master something.
yeah, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So if you're only doing it 20 minutes a day, then that's going to take you like 30,000 days, right? It's a long time. So we can all practice for the rest of our lives and still not be masters. The other thing we want to do is we want to say our affirmations and focus on our big why and keep our eye on our goal. Why do you guys think it would be important to say our affirmations, focus on our big why, keep our eye on our goals?
Say little
Say positive. Mm-hmm.
Kind of a reset at each day. Like maybe the day before was not so successful, you know, and just recognition, a reminder of what you're doing.
Why you're doing it. Mm-hmm.
It's a little structure to your life to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty easy in this job to like just kind of think it's all going to happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of let things go.
It's funny, the biggest strength, I've been in sales for a while, but in technology, one of the biggest strengths you can have as a salesperson, is that this is a short memory. You know, otherwise you give up pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Short memory and positive mindset. The mindset is the biggest make or break of agents, of anybody who's in this type of industry. That's going to be what's going to make you be a rock star or make you want to quit. So, the other reason why I believe it's really important to focus on your big why is it helps you get over feeling rejected. So, Lisa, we were talking about this. I have pictures right above my computer of all the things all the reasons why I'm doing this. I have this thing that says, my big why is more important than what you think of me, so that I can just keep that in mind when I'm on the phone with people and maybe they're rejected. Usually they don't reject you, to be honest. I mean, after a while, like at first maybe a little bit, but most people like people are saying they want to help you. So you keep that in mind that I'm doing this for this reason, and even if they do reject me, who cares? Moving on, My thoughts on this prepare that we were talking about, these 30 minutes, in my experience, prepping that call list the morning of has ruined my productivity on getting it done. So in my experience, I believe it's better to prep who you're going to call before you get to the office that day. So maybe the day before, or if I'm going to call whatever my 2 letters are in the database, and then you don't have to think about it. If you'll be like, yeah, I'm all set to lead generate, and then you'll sit down at your computer and you're like, I don't want to call. Like you get little brain block at 8 o'clock in the morning about who to call. So if you can kind of prepare it ahead of time, then you can get to the office and you're like saying your affirmations and you're looking at your big why and you're like, I'm ready to go. It's less start and stop, I have found. So prepare it a week at a time. Once you track your conversion, you know how many people you need to call, you know how many people you need to dial to make the contact, so you can go ahead and prep. Okay, I need to prep 200 names so I can make my contacts this week, or 500 names, or whatever it may be. That's another reason to track your numbers.
At what point do you consider it conversion? Like, at what point in the relationship do you consider, how do you track that?
So we're tracking how many dials we make, how many contacts, so it's a dial to a contact would be a conversion, and then we're tracking how many leads, we're tracking how many buyer appointments set, how many buyer appointments gone on, because you could set it but never go on it, because if they stand you up. Buyer appointments gone on to, or same with listings, but I do the buyers. Buyer appointments gone on to buyer agency agreement signed, buyer agency agreement signed to under contract to close. So how many people really need to call to actually get it to close.
Okay. That's what
There's a great class called Business Planning Clinic. It will come in October or November. Make sure you go to that. It will help you with these conversions and predicting your business for 2018. Okay. All right. And then take action. So this is when we're actually prospecting. You're going to spend 2 hours making these connections, asking for business, all of this. So you're going to get your database, you're going to get your list, whatever it is, you're going to call 2 hours. No, you can make notes as you go, whatever. Then you're going to maintain. So this is where you're doing any kind of follow-up. 30 minutes would be spent doing this, like writing notes to people, tracking your numbers, updating your calendar. If you said you were going to, go on an appointment, you want to put that on your calendar. If they wanted you to send them something, send them whatever you said. That's the 3 and 3. Does this sound reasonable to you guys? Yeah. Any ahas about this? 3 ahas about this.
It kind of goes back to the beginning about the preparing, like what you said. I would probably prepare for the next day at the end. So yeah, that's good. Like how you said, it's better to do that ahead of time.
Kind of get your momentum going a little bit better.
Yeah. So I would take action from what I had prepared the previous day, and then after I'm finished with the maintaining, then I would prepare for the next day.
And this is what I do. I don't know if you guys have heard this book called The Miracle Morning. They have one for real estate agents. I would highly recommend reading that. It's all about that positive mindset, affirmations, visualization, basically getting your day started on the right track. So I do that. I get to the office at about 8:15. I do 30 minutes of script practice. And then I start making my lead generation calls so I actually do call for 3 hours, but so I lead generate from 9 to 10:30, and then I do lead follow-up from 10:30 to 12. And then I'm doing my notes and everything as part of my lead follow-up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Since so much of your business is really going to be obtained through lead follow-up, I found that I had to make sure I was spending more time actually following up with people. I was generating all these leads and then I never followed up with it. So I kind of split that time so that I was using it better.
My aha was the letters, I feel like in your phone or in your contact base, if you don't watch it, like you'll pick just the people you want to talk to, and like you'll skip the people that it's been a while or you're not close to or whatever, and you'll burn through your list or something will happen with those leads. I like that you it has to be A's and B's or whatever.
Yeah.
You can burn through them regardless of whatever. And that way I don't miss anybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Because they're all in an SU.
Right.
So it's pretty much, they're right there. And then I'm like, well, there's no denying who I have not called yet. And I called somebody the other day. I was telling you guys that. She's like, no, I'm not going to send you referrals. I'll just email you. You don't have to call me anymore. And I'm like, okay, But I mean,
So then
she was
you
somebody I had to call.
you make a note in the end or something like, don't call her, just email her or what?
Yeah, I just made a note like I'm only. Yeah, I just made a note only to call her on holidays and pass by it. So whatever. Okay. Any other ahas on the three and Perry? It's so important. It's so easy to not do this. Like, it's really easy to get out of this habit. And it makes everything so much better if you do it. I mean, I feel like for 2 or 3 weeks, I've been doing this consistently, like without fail, getting to the office, script practice, making the calls. And then afterwards, I'm like, woo, I feel awesome. Like, I feel good that I did what I'm supposed to do. Like, when you start feeling guilty that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, that's how I would feel if I didn't. So it just, I don't know, try it, give it a couple weeks, really get into that momentum of it, and then you'll start seeing results and feeling good about it. All right, page 27. So prospecting opportunities, we talked about meds, we talked about asking referrals. What are some other places, like we talked about the other sphere people in your life, but what would be some other ways that we could prospect to find people that we don't already know? Everywhere you go through that? Yeah.
At the supermarket, you see somebody go next to it and ask you, do you like this guy? You can always start a conversation.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I went to buy some furniture because I'm staying in my house. And I got the information on the site.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, we need to talk to it. Which is not always comfortable, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, Earl Clark, when she first started in real estate, she would wear her name tag and just kind of hang out at like TJ Maxx or the grocery store at like 5:30, and people would be like, "Oh, you're in real estate!" Like they would just come up to her and they see her name tag. Just in your regular life, just be a little bit more present. And like you were saying, you kind of go through things and you're not paying attention. And you're like, hey, "Don't talk to me. I'm busy. I don't want to talk about real estate. I'm tired of talking to people." But like if you just kind of have your name tag on and you're a little more open to it, people want to talk to you about real estate.
That's funny, we used to wear their name tag upside down.
So people would.
So that people would come up and like, your name tag's upside down. It would give them a reason to talk.
That's cool.
Genius.
This is a little off topic, but can you take about 10 seconds and tell us where we're supposed to get these name tags?
I got mine from
the thing sheet.
Badge board.
In your
In the red book
binder.
that I got, that I was doing like you, and then they said, "Get your red book out, Lisa, and
was in
read
there.
through it. Everything you're at, look, it's in here on a certain
Pink sheet, maybe?
No, not the pink sheet.
Not pink sheet.
It tells you all of the vendors, who you can order your signs from, who's approved per Keller Williams.
Oh.
Business cards, and then your Bling name badges. And definitely stick with this because I didn't, and mine was 3 times the cost of what they charge. Mine was $30-some, and you can get like some places 2 for $15. Or yeah, so
Thank you.
We'll check the red book. All right. So, what are some other opportunities for prospecting?
Advertising.
Well, so that would be marketing. So prospecting again, like getting out and talking to people. What are some ways we could get out and talk to people?
who was it Arlene or someone said that
Deborah.
was it Deborah that said she would stand some? Oh yeah, it was. She would go somewhere and buy the little box of
Biscuits and donuts.
yeah, and stand and get approval wherever she was going. And she would was it at the downtown at some
Like City Hall.
City Hall, and she was hand them out and say thank you for your service.
Well, that's good.
And then
Yeah.
use that to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big aha.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You were mentioning door knocking. You know, that's a form of prospecting, getting out maybe in your own neighborhood. You know, hey, I'm in real estate. You could door knock around an open house. I'm sure any agent in this company would, if you asked, would say, sure, you can knock around my listing, knock around my open house, or knock around my new listing. You could call around people's new listings. You can call around your own new listings. Call around things that have sold. I've done that a lot of times on not my own listings. I just ask permission from the agent, and they don't care, because it's good, positive press for them. But I'm trying to find a lead. You know, makes sense. What about open houses?
Yeah.
Doing open houses.
So I have a question about that. If you work in open house for another agent, then do you just like have an agreement with them that you get the leads from that open house, or are you supposed to give them to that agent of the listing, or
No, you keep
you
the leads.
keep the leads? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that way then.
So there's a lot of ways
That's how I met the agent that worked. Well, whenever we bought our house,
Mm-hmm.
she was working in an open house for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's a great way to meet new people. It's a good way to generate us sellers and generate buyers, because a lot of times neighbors come to the house because they're curious about, you know,
And those neighbors.
but they may be thinking about selling their house too. So door knocking the neighborhood, calling the neighborhood, being at the open house, those are all good ways to prospect for that. All right, we're gonna watch a video. These guys are great. These are the Property Brothers. Or the Real Estate Brothers, sorry. Not the Property Brothers. Not the Property Brothers. Don't look the same. So I'm going to ask for your aha.
Right.
So keep the...
Hi, my name is Dylan Bravache.
I'm Sean Bravache.
We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're the Real Estate Brothers.
2014, we wrote 72 transactions for $47 million.
Sean and I are very lucky because we're actually fairly entrepreneurial in sales. So we were able to just sort of survive by luck and by just sort of being likable and nice.
We had a decent business that wasn't growing.
We did a lot of door knocking originally, but what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock, it was just too much of a wild card.
If we were to grow the business, we needed to add people to our database, and if we were going to do that, we needed a systematic way that we knew we could achieve results that were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling.
About 3 hours a day, and we found that the results were phenomenal.
Come take a look where we've been this whole time.
You can literally do it from your
It's just
kitchen.
more time effective.
Yeah.
If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or on print. Telephone lines, you can pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. Why don't you come in here and show you the cold calling here? We got a map where we've broken the entire city into zones. We like to target areas where we have buyers.
It's been scrubbed with the do not call list, and it still represents over 250,000 phone numbers. All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle. We have our scripts on the right, and then on the left.
Do some research on the house they're calling for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding jet fuel to your car or something. I mean, it pumps your business up.
We went from making
What was our first year? Like $70K, and then this year together we did $1.1 million. So This is Sean calling from the Real Estate Brothers. You know what, I'm so sorry about you today, but I just noticed that you have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing you can do for your business.
Absolutely most important, and you have to quantify it as well. The bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way
To set a bar.
to set a bar and get started and stick. Whatever your decision
I was
is.
just wondering, is anything changing your plans? Are you still thinking this way to get it on the market?
You can't think today was a bad cold calling day, because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great.
You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success.
We're going to be in your neighborhood for the next 2 weeks getting free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do?
Well, I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have this saying with our team that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future.
I have a chuckle about it. Like, honestly, when someone cusses at me or something, I just laugh because it's funny.
And do you think that it might make sense just to put something tentatively for the weekend?
The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money, because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money.
Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like,
Just do it.
Done.
Stop watching this video, get off your butt and go start dialing numbers and talking to people. Just get on the phone.
Yeah, and if you hate money, don't do it.
Yeah.
What you guys think of that one?
So I have a question. You mentioned the Mojo thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that filter the do not call lists for you? So that would be a good investment, probably, right? Is it something like that?
Isn't that about like expired and stuff? And it used to be, but now there's not a ton of expireds coming through. I mean, so do you, are there different?
I don't use
Parts of
it
that
so
thing?
much for the expireds. You can do neighborhood searches, so for circle prospecting, like around a home that's just been listed or just sold or an open house. So I use it for that. We have done, I mean, expireds do come in there, but we kind of go back and forth on focusing on expireds. And then, I mean, I've been using it. Another good thing about it is you call through the system, so you're not sitting there dialing. You're it dials it for you, and your efficiency picks up, because I mean, you guys know, if you're like on your phone and you're like, okay, I'm going to call this person, and then you hang up and then you see you got a text come in, you're probably going to look at your text, you know. But if you, like, I have my phone here and I've got my headset on and it dials through the computer, so I don't even really have to look at my phone. I can just even like turn it over so it's not a distraction, and it will just keep dialing through. So your efficiency is much better. And it tracks how many dials you make, how many calls you make, how many contacts, how long you're on the phone, so you can track your efficiency.
I heard your dad talking at the luncheon about triple dialing.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about that.
Yeah, so triple dialing with Mojo, what it does is it allows you to dial 3 lines at once. So like if you're calling around the neighborhood, you know, a lot of times people, either it's a bad number or they're not there, they're at work, whatever. So each time you're dialing, it's taking time. So what it does is dials 3 lines at once. If one person picks up, it doesn't keep dialing the other ones, like it lets it ring through. You talk to that person, then it hangs up, and then it starts dialing again. So it just allows you to get through a list faster.
How much does it cost?
It's just for the platform. It's like $10 or $20 a month. Like you could put your own people in there, but then to add on the dialers, like so that auto dials for a single line, I think it's 100-ish.
A month.
For a month, and then for a triple dialer, well, okay, I'm thinking in terms of 2 people. So for 2 people, it's $300 a month, so probably about $150, I think, for the triple dialer. So, I mean, what we did was start with the single dialer, and then we're like, we got to up it to the triple dialer. If you're calling your database, call them on the single dialer, just because they're probably more likely to pick up.
So does it give like a map, and then you just zoom in like where you want to call, and it has the phone numbers?
Yep, you draw a map, and then it'll pull the numbers in.
So is that like the 10 to 20 per month, or do you have to have a dollar to do that? Or
You don't have to have the dollar to do that, but you have to pay separately for that. I think that's like $75 for 3 months. It's called mojosales.com. You can look on the website. So that's good for efficiency. I mean, if you're not going to be serious about making calls, I wouldn't spend money, but you should be serious about making calls if I haven't spent money. Okay, so page 28. For what, do you guys have any other ahas about this video?
70,000 to 1.1 million.
Yeah.
It's like a ton of money.
And I love how he says, you have great success by doing it every day. It's not that one day is going to have great success. You're successful because of consistency. Yeah. All right. So, page 28, these are some other prospecting sources. So, we've got door knocking, geographical farming, for sale by owners, expires or withdrawn listings, open houses, agent referrals, and social media. So when you're door knocking or farming, does anybody do this? Door knocking? I like door knocking. It's not so bad. It doesn't bother me so bad.
I don't know about door knocking. My husband hates whenever we have a no soliciting sign. Like, so then I'm gonna turn into one of the people that you have to sign against at my house. I mean, I don't care. I always I'm a nurturer, and so I always listen to them. And a lot of times I try to let them know I'm not interested, but I'll definitely, especially if they have like a quota, I'll be like, you can add me to your quota. I'll listen to what you have to say. But it's really hard for me to turn people away, so that's why my husband put the sign up, because I never turn people away. But I mean, I guess you can always try it.
Do you bring items of value?
Yeah.
When you go?
Mm-hmm. So usually I door knock like if it's a new listing or if it's an open house, especially for an open house. So I'll bring like the flyer, like special neighbor invite. We'd love for you to come, check out the house. And on the reverse side, I do just like a quick CMA of what's active, pending, and sold in the last year. And then I'm like, just so you know what's going on in the neighborhood, this is what things are selling for right now in case you're interested. It's not like a hard sell. I'm just trying to get in front of people and hope that they're going to say, or, asking them like, oh, have you considered selling your house, whatever. You're just trying to find leads at that point to talk to people. So you always want to give an item of value. So there's some ideas here. Like if you know that the inventory is really low and 2 homes just sold like that, over the weekend, then that might be something worth telling people about door knocking or calling around. Vendor referrals, whatever. But you want to give something of value to people. For sale by owners, page 29. These are people that have said they want to sell their house. They're ready, willing, and able. The thing with for sale by owners is that you got to be persistent. Most of them are not going to list with you right over the phone. You've got to continue to follow up. Now that doesn't mean that they won't. Some of them do want to list right away. My experience has been you got to follow up with people, and they'll probably end up listing with somebody. Usually it's the one who keeps calling. Contacting for sale by owners. So middle of the page. You can go online, you can do drive-bys, you can let people know, like who are in your family, like, hey mom, if you see a for sale by owner when you're driving around, text it to me, or, anybody who may be in your life that, would want to help your business, have them send you pictures of for sale by owners signs. At the bottom of the page, appointment to see their home. So, we're not trying to list the house over the phone. We're trying to get in the house. We want to get in front of them, okay? So let's read this script together. Bottom of page 29. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. My name is Laurel with Keller Williams Realty, and I noticed your home is for sale. As a real estate customer service expert, I like to keep up with the inventory in this area so that I know what kind of buyers to bring. Would you be offended if I came over to your home? Yes, I would be totally offended. Okay. I promise I won't ask for your listing. The reason for my call is not to list your home. I would simply like to put the home on my for sale by owner inventory list. Would today at 3 o'clock or tomorrow at 1 p.m. be better for you? Blah, blah.
That's how you do it, right?
So we're trying to get in the house. We're not trying to listen over the phone. And to be honest with you, inventory is low. You know, we do need to know what's not on the multiple listing service. We need to know what else is out there for our buyers. So this is a totally valid script to use right now. I mean, you can use it anytime, but really, it's going to help you if you know what else is out there. Maybe you won't list their house, but you may sell it. So that's a great, you want to get inside the house. You want to get good at for sale by owner scripts, take bold. They have tons of great scripts for that. There's also a great script in the Mission 3 video from prior to this class. Okay, page 30. Again, we're going slowly, so we want to get into the house, get the appointment, get in the house, get in front of them, and not try to sell them immediately once we get in there. So we've got a script here for that. We're not going to go over it because we're running behind time. But we want to go slowly. We want to win their trust by being a resource. There's a reason why they don't want to work with an agent right now. Either maybe they don't trust agents or they're trying to save money. So either way, we're trying to understand what they want to do. So here's some scripts on talking with them about what they want to do. So we're going to save them money and we're going to save them time. Here's a stat that I learned at family reunion, which y'all should write down, is that I think it's 70% of contracts that are between two real estate agents go to closing. And only 25% of for sale by owner contracts go to closing. So what that means is yours is a much higher chance of this contract not going through and you wasting your time and money by selling it yourself. Same thing. If you're a buyer's agent and your buyer doesn't want to work with you because they try to save money with working with the seller, they're not going to save money. They're going to waste money because their contract may fall through.
Why? Why do they fall through so much more?
Well, who's looking at the details really?
Yeah.
Right. But they're not professionals and they don't know the process. So
they're probably at your house and stuff. They're trying to they're just doing their sale on the side, so it's a lot of stuff to cope with. I mean, I got lucky when I sold my house, but I can see where you stream it if you're not, you know what you're doing.
Right. So that's the reason why.
Sometimes buyers aren't honest with sellers either. Like you don't speak to their lenders directly. You don't have direct communication. If something's falling through cracks, agents are here to jumpstart that to life.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you held a deal together, blood, sweat, and tears, and thread? You know
exactly. Yeah. So that's another just
I wish I
little.
could say that.
You will.
All right. So moving on to expired listings. So these are properties that did not sell during their listing contract, and withdrawn was that they were taken off the market. So they at one time wanted to sell, so they probably still do, unless something changed with their personal situation. So there's a great video in Ignite, I believe at the beginning, or it's either the beginning or, seller expired listing. It's in the mission prior to this class. So there's a great script in there. And what you want to do when you're calling them is you want to make sure that it is in fact expired. And you want to be low key. You don't want to be trying to sell them right over the phone. They just had their house listed for 6 months and it didn't sell. And so they're probably like hating on real estate agents right now because it didn't sell. So you want to take a kind of a reserved approach to this and not be super aggressive over the phone with them. Again, you want to get in person with them. And then be ready for the listing presentation. A lot of times they say, oh yeah, you can come over and talk to me. They really want you, they may be ready for you to actually list their house. So mission 4 is going to talk about your listing presentations and make sure that you do that. Any questions about for sale by owners or expireds? Okay. Open houses. So we've talked about open houses a little bit already. It's a great way to get in front of people. It's a great way to generate buyers and generate sellers. Again, calling around the neighborhood when it's the neighborhood that it's going to be open in, door knocking in the neighborhood. These are great ways to make connections with people ahead of time. And then obviously at the open house, establishing a connection while you're there. In your scripts book, I believe, there should be, because you're going to have a whole section on open houses, I believe, in Ignite. So there should be some good scripts in there about what to say while you're at the open house to potential buyers. Okay, agent referrals were on 33. So sometimes there may be agents here in our office that have either too much business or it's just somebody that may not be a right fit for them. So we can get business by developing relationships with other people in our office. This has happened to me. I get a lot of agent referrals. Well, not a lot, but I mean a reasonable number. And sometimes it's just because I've developed a relationship with these agents, and if they are too busy to handle, they've got too many buyers, then they pass them on to me because they know that I'll take care of them, and they'll still get some kind of commission. So being involved in the market center, coming to classes, going to trainings, getting to know other agents, that's a great way to develop that kind of relationship with somebody. Also agents from other parts of the country. So going to family reunion, going to these regional events where you're meeting people, Charlotte, Raleigh, that's a good chance that somebody may be moving from Greensboro to Raleigh or whatever. So developing these relationships where we can help each other out and get paid for it.
What about the desk up here? Is that fair game too? Like if you're...
Yeah, I think you have to go through Ignite all the way and then get trained on doing phone duty, but I mean anybody's allowed to, once you've met the requirements, can sign up for that. Okay. And then social media. So this is something this is a question that you had, and there's so many different types of social media. This talks a lot about various ways that you can engage. Facebook, they've got a ton of information on that. This talks about setting up a separate business page for your Facebook, not doing everything on your personal page. Then on page 34, it gives a lot of ideas about various ways to post about various things like your neighborhood, events that may be going on, congratulating new homeowners, polls, surveys, things like just posting your listings. And what they do say in number 6 is to keep 80% of your content is not about real estate. It's just about other things, and 20% about your listings or a buyer or something like that. And you mentioned that you called somebody that liked something on your page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it somebody that you already knew?
Yeah, it was a former coworker.
Former coworker.
Yeah, so he basically, I just made my page and he went on there and not only liked it, but he rated me 5 stars.
Oh, awesome.
Reaching out to him, because I completely forgot to do that, personally thanking for that.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said that to him, he's like, actually, dude, I think we're going to need you here next month or so. That we're trying to sell him.
That's good. I think that's what a lot of people don't do. I think people don't make that extra step to follow up with whoever likes something. Like, you ever seen people like something or commenting and, making that extra connection, like, oh, I saw you liked this, thing on our Facebook page. Like, is there anything I can do to help you out? Especially if you can find ways to engage with people that you may not know that have just liked your pages. One thing that I did that got a ton of interest was I posted one of our listings, and this was just like a $50,000 condo, like not a huge listing, but it's right in High Point on Main Street and it's right where the Uptown area is. So what I did was I tagged all the businesses that were nearby, like their Facebook pages, and I just kind of wrote this little blurb about, uptown living, great to be so close to all these different restaurants and blah, 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 and I tagged them all. And so many more people saw it and were sharing it and things like that because I had a lot more exposure than just the people that were following my page. So if you can find ways to like link it to other people's business pages or like city pages, anything where somebody who may be following that page would see it and they may not be on your page. That was a trick that I did that got a ton of engagement and likes and interest.
What did you call your business page?
Smith and Company Real Estate. Yeah. So there's Twitter. I don't use Twitter.
Yeah. No, I don't really use Twitter either.
I know Earl uses Twitter. To be honest, I don't really use a lot of social media just because the conversion rate's really low, but I'm trying to use it more as a way to engage with my sphere, actually. Like, just making those connections so they see my face and they see my name more so than actually trying to sell stuff on that. Yeah. Do you have any hints?
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Of business? Yeah, see, I don't know, I'm
I got 10 deals last year.
really big into, like, networking on social media anyway, so I just figure
You just
I'll use
can't,
that
like,
as
the
a source.
80-20 rule.
I won't
is
rely
probably
on
pretty right.
yeah.
Like, you can't just always do, like, buy from me, look up this
Yeah.
house, all the time. Like, you gotta like people's posts, and you gotta be, a genuine person. Yeah.
And that
Be a
could be
genuine
something as
person.
part of your, say you set a timer, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, like the first part of my lead generation or the last part of my lead generation every day, like just checking on, liking things or commenting, be strategic about it.
Right.
Maybe these people who are in your top, your A+ people, make sure you're following, like that you see their, you can go on and see their post first.
Right.
So maybe like, make sure you see all their stuff and you're liking it or commenting just to continue to develop that relationship. To me, that's probably a better way to get business.
Well, it's more of your B's or C's that you don't talk to every day,
Mm-hmm.
but that you still they know you're in real estate, they know what you do,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like their page a lot or wish them happy birthday or whatever you're doing, like that 450 lead that I got was a Facebook message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say too, on your personal page, make sure you keep everything lighthearted and positive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a business page?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make one.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying, I'm going to make one today, and then I don't. By the end of the weekend, I'm going to have one.
There's something else that Facebook just came out with this weekend, like Workspace. And it's a team collaboration tool. It's totally separate from your account. It's very useful if you have more than one person. It's private, there's no advertisements or anything. It's $3 per user per month. And it's really getting some major reviews. I don't know if you guys use team collaboration tools of any kind.
Okay.
But it's really cool. You gotta check it out.
That's cool. It's called
Workplace.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions on social media? My thought would be, if that's going to be like your one thing, then figure out, there's probably a lot of videos and things in KW Connect about really utilizing that in a purposeful way. But if you're just kind of going to dabble in it, I don't know if it's really going to generate the business that you're...
Not the calls.
Right, not that the calls would be. Okay. All right, so we are finishing up. I would like to have, or let's read this last sentence out loud together on page 39, starting with successful agents.
Okay.
Right. Successful agents just found ways to quickly get beyond their reluctance and get comfortable with the call. Their end goal was more important than their fear. So I think most people go through some varying levels of oh, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. And then you just kind of get used to it and you get comfortable with it and it stops being a big deal. Like I kind of got over calling people and I would call this list is just sold, and I was like, oh, that's so easy. But I'm not calling a database. And then you kind of have to like, now I'm like, okay, I'll call anybody. But, you know, you gotta move past that reluctancy. And I took, in this database class that I took at Family Reunion, they said the 2 reasons why people don't want to call while we have call reluctancy is because either we don't know what to say or we feel like we're only taking and we're not giving anything. So, what would help with not knowing what to say?
Scripts.
Scripts, yeah. And then the second thing is, you know, figure out what it is that's going to make you feel comfortable. If it does need to be that I'm always giving something, then like I'm going to tell them about something that's coming up, or I'm going to wish them Happy Mother's Day, or wish them a happy birthday, or whatever it may be. If you have to have some giving reason to call, then come up with what that is for you, and then start calling. This, do the database too. If you go to the Facebook page, they have an interview with a couple, and this one lady, it's the daily group, and Alice, the wife, said, I didn't want to call people, I felt like I was just taking. So what I did was I decided I was going to do my lead generation around throwing parties for people. And so they do all kinds of client parties throughout the year, and that's the way she calls and lead generates. So, I mean, if you need to, whatever you need to come up with to figure out how you personally can feel comfortable making the calls, then do it and get started on it. All right, let's have an aha from everybody, and then we're going to finish up.
Just the cold calling for me was amazing. You know, I've thought about it, but I think I've committed more to wanting to do that now. I think you can really generate leverage from that.
Yeah, and what I had found was I was doing tons of cold calling, and I was getting some business, but when I added in the warm calling of my database, that's when it really started to take off. So some combination of that cold and warm. I have to do the cold calling to increase the people to add to my database, but I was getting a lot more business from the warm calls too. So, good.
So you say that you want? Oh, I understand that you were reluctant to call the warm one.
My block party thing, sorry, I love that thing.
Yeah,
I do
It's working
too.
out, because I don't have any other lead sources. They work out. It's good.
Cool.
I like when the guy said, you can be a part of my past, or you can be a part of my future.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to sort of embrace that. Like, if it doesn't go, just let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
One of my ahas was actually from that video with the brothers. Whenever they said, it was, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like, instead of, saying eventually I plan on doing this, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready to.
Just actually just start instead of like waiting.
Mm-hmm.
The portion is enough follow-up for me.
Oh yeah, that was
Really powerful, because I think a lot of times, like, I'm doing it and I'll make the calls and they'll say, oh, I have a friend, and if I don't watch myself, I'll get busy, like, showing
Doing something
whatever,
else.
and I'll fall through the cracks, and I've got to be purposeful.
Yeah.
Make it a business and not poke a stick at it.
Right.
I've been letting it come to me too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be proactive and go after it.
Mm-hmm.
Blinders focused.
Yeah. What else?
I mean, just being direct, it's just being more effective. So,
Mine was really not so much from the content of the class, but the one thing that you said about the for sale by owners, where 70% of the contracts between realtors close and only 20% of the for sale by owner contracts close. That's pretty profound. And that's a very good and compelling statement to use when you're talking to the for sale by owners to convert them to lists. That's really compelling.
Any other?
I like what a lot of people said in here. I also like the idea of the quick CMA, which you suggested with open houses. Get that out. Because I do like to give, and then also the scripts. Like, I'm going to think more about what I would like to give when I do property.
Any other ahas? Well, you guys have been great. If you have questions or anything after class, my email and my phone number is there. If you want that through the database to schedule, let me know. I think that's it.
Thank you.
And sometimes I need help with showings. So if anybody would be interested in getting paid to show houses at some time,
Oh my gosh.
then email me.
Yes.
And we can talk more about it. Okay? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything.
I will actually be on vacation for 9 days. Really reach out to me.
Yeah.
Because I will have showings when I need.
What were you saying about Dance Moms? You watched that show?
No, my little boy took dance last year. One of the mothers messaged me on Facebook, referred to the lead.
I was stuck on an airplane for an hour with that Abby Lee.
Were you?
Yeah, so I had pictures
That's
of
not
her.
really. I mean, actually, I'm a dance mom, and some people can be that extreme, but that's not really
She ate all my almonds.
the culture.
She was like right there with me, like, oh my
No, we sat next to each other. We were laughing.
Oh,
We had a
wow.
good time. Yeah, she
Isn't she? She's in trouble though.
she is, but
Yeah.
she sat behind me and then she sat next to me.
That's funny. That's fun.
Oh,
Oh yeah, my page. Look, I'm focusing on.
Linda, have you reached out to any people yet?
I got some like investment.
The 10th.
But what they're looking for is like they want it to have. And also we asked some questions ask you about some investment, like maybe some website.
You are like on your team. You're the buyer's agent.
Yep.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I feel like eventually that's probably where I'd want to go, but I know I need to learn all of it. I have my very first appointment today with some first-time buyers, and I don't know if I've included all the stuff I need to include.
Okay.
Okay, let me go.
Also, I was going to tell both of y'all, I meant to say it in class, but oh well. There is I think I said this, you were at the team meeting, I think when I said this. There is a video in KW Connect about the buyer's consultation with Nikki Baldini, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So watch that.
Okay, yeah. Williams and the Connect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have these two, obviously, and then I have the sample offer to purchase. This one, do I need to fill this out before? Okay, and then I only printed off this part of it. I didn't do the whole thing, I printed off just like the steps. And, is there it's in like an hour, it's at 1. Is there anything else that you recommend I put in for now? I don't have cards yet.
No, the only thing I put in there, actually,